What do you mean, where is Daze? Oh, is it still not live? Oh, that is so annoying. Guys, hello. That is so annoying. I hate it when it does that. So when you press live on YouTube, so I've been chatting now for 5 minutes, but when you press live on YouTube, you have to stay on the page. If you don't stay on the actual page, then it can sometimes, this happens a little bit with the Wrestling Escape Pod actually, it can just keep going round, like loading. You need to stay and actually wait for it to fully go live and actually connect and everything. If you do go onto a different page, which I just did, before it fully loaded, then it doesn't connect. I've just done a full breakdown of the show, which you have clearly not seen. I just clicked over to jump into the chat, and everyone was like, where's Daze? What's Daze doing? Is Daze asleep? Oh, my God. So, hello. Hopefully you can see me now. Hope everyone's well. Hope everyone's had a good day. That happens all the time with the Wrestling Escape Pod. Right, okay. I'll tell you what, guys. Let me tell you what's happening on the show tonight. Let's jump over again. We'll see what's on. Let's just go to the NXT Twitter. Oh, look, it's open already. What a surprise. So we've got Cameron Grimes taking on Joe Gacy. Ava Raine is going to be at ringside. We've got Brutus Creed taking on Damon Kemp. Very much looking forward to that because, as I just said, I think the Creed brothers against Damon Kemp is a lot of fun, and I've really enjoyed watching the Creed brothers and Damon Kemp. That story's been very good. Probably the thing I'm most excited for is the women's tag title match. So we've got Kaden Carter and Katana Chance taking on Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark. They faced each other a couple of weeks ago. This match should be fire because it was fire 2 weeks ago. And I know we're all a little bit older, but it's only been a couple of weeks. So that should be fire match. So looking forward to that. What I am most looking forward to, and as I said, but no one saw, Thea Hale fans unite, come together. Let us unite as one, as Andre Chase is taking on Charlie Dempsey, and surely Thea Hale is going to be around. Even if she's not in a match, just as long as she's around, that's all I need. So, yes, Andre Chase against Charlie Dempsey. That match is happening, and I don't care about either of those guys. I actually do like both, but by Thea Hale. Then we've got Bron Breakker going on to the Grayson Waller effect along with Von Wagner. Von Wagner going on to that show, attacking Bron last week. Now they're going on to that show. Clearly we're building towards a match. Don't know when that match is going to happen. I feel like Deadline's not that far away. We've been seeing adverts for Deadline, haven't we? So maybe we're getting Von Wagner against Bron Breakker at NXT Deadline. Don't know. Clearly we're building towards something. Then we've also got Axiom taking on JD Manamana. And we've got Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams going back to the barbershop. So, yeah, lots to look forward to tonight. Plenty of things coming up. And as we said, I am easily most excited for Thea Hale. Let's jump back over to the chat. Hello. Nick Clark said the cash-in yesterday. Hang on. That's how I feel about it. The cash-in yesterday was so stupid. Thank you. Because it was an open challenge. All you had to do is say, I accept. Yeah. The only thing I would say to that is I don't know that the open challenge stands when Seth is clearly beaten up and injured. So he can issue an open challenge, but if he is not fit to compete, if he is not able to have a match, because he was actually explaining to a referee that he was like, oh, I'm injured, like my stomach hurts, like I've got a bad tummy. I don't know what he said, but he was clearly pointing around his abs. I don't know if he was like pointing them out or something. Maybe they were playing a game of Spot the Abs. I don't know, but he was doing something like this. And I think that there was clearly a medical issue there. And whilst that medical issue was there, and I don't know that he would have been cleared to have had a match, then, we made this point, I think, on the review. The open challenge stood. The open challenge was there. So, yes, Theory should have come down and said, I'll accept the open challenge. I think the reason why he didn't is because Seth was injured. I think the Money in the Bank briefcase, that allows him to have a match anytime, right? I mean, Seth could be in a hospital bed, and I think the Money in the Bank contract would allow him to have a match anytime, in the middle of surgery. He just needs to sneak over while surgery's happening, pin the leg, 1, 2, 3, thank you, doctor, and out he goes, and, I think that would stand. So I don't know that the open challenge was active because of the injury concern and the medical concern. So I think that's why he uses his cash in. So I can kind of explain why he did what he did. And the reason why we're talking about this, it's important because we might see Austin Theory next week say that he wants his briefcase back because the open challenge meant that he never needed to cash in. And I think a fair few people might go, oh, that's so clever. And I just want to explain why it isn't. I just want to make sure everyone's aware why it's not clever, why that excuse won't hold water, why it does absolutely suck. And that's why we're spending time on it. So I cannot see the way out of it. I can't see a way that he gets his briefcase back. The only argument I can see him saying is that it was an open challenge and I shouldn't have to cash in on an open challenge. My response would be, but you did cash in. And also, I don't think the open challenge was active at that point because Bobby Lashley had come down and beaten up Seth. And so, we were in a very different medical situation. And I don't think Seth was going to be cleared to compete under those circumstances. So I don't think the open challenge was active at that moment in time. Hence why he cashed in. He tried. He failed. Boo-hoo. Rubbish cash in. Like, I honestly would struggle to tell you of a worse cash in than the Austin Theory one. It's awful. Awful. I hope he doesn't get it back, says Trini. Sorry, I'm not sorry. I hope he doesn't get it back now. Idiot. That's how I feel about him. Idiot. I can see Theory snapping because of this, and since Logan has the phone influencer role now, Theory can be more serious, cocky heel, said Toxplicity. Philip said, how do you think that Bray should confront Alexa if that is who he is coming for? I think that to be honest, if let's go down I don't know that's what's happening. It's certainly looking likely, but him trying to recruit her, not attack her, I would say is also very likely. And again, we can't rule out the fact that he might be coming after Asuka. If he is, let's say he is looking to attack Alexa, then I like the idea of Alexa being in the middle of a match, let's say War Games, and it's carnage, and, maybe she's outnumbered, and someone comes to her aid. Now, I don't know who this person would be. We can speculate, but I like the idea of someone coming to her aid and someone standing by her in her hour of need. Let's say, everyone's down. Alexa is standing, back against the cage. She's got, 4 or 5 women circling around her. She's, in a position where she's right, okay, I need to fight these women off. It's literally all down to me. Someone comes to her aid. Someone comes to her rescue and stands by her side. Don't know who that person would be. We can speculate about it. But I like the idea that person then isn't on her side, turns on her for a brief, fleeting moment, Alexa thinks she's got a friend, she's got someone to have her back, like, we can do this, and it's all taken away. And whoever that person is that then starts beating up on Alexa does a pretty damn brutal job. And it turns out that this female is now part of the Wyatt Six faction. So that's how I would do it if I was going to have Bray attack Alexa. I wouldn't have Bray himself attack Alexa. I don't think that's a good look. Like, I know intergender wrestling is cool and done on the indie scene and all this kind of stuff. I have no desire, zero desire to see Bray physically get in an altercation with Alexa Bliss. The size difference between them is vast, right? You've got Alexa, you've got Bray, right? Alexa, Bray, yeah? Bray is broad. He's got wide shoulders. You know, he pumps iron, clearly hits the gym. He is not James Ellsworth. He's not thin. He's not someone that, you know, you look at and go, well, do you know what? Alexa might have a chance. You look at Bray, you look at Alexa, you go, oh my God, I think he might eat Alexa. There's a good chance he might eat Alexa for like a pre-workout meal. So I have no desire to see Bray physically getting involved with Alexa. So for me personally, I want to see a female do that work for Bray. Now, it could be Nikki Cross. We might be actually seeing it happen at the moment. It could be that Nikki Cross is that person, and she has already been sent to attack Alexa. And, you know, that's all part of the same story. I'm not down on that. I think that would be fine. But presuming that it's not Nikki, right? Presuming that Bray is still to attack, then I like the idea of Alexa being in a bad place, needing some help, and then someone arriving and, you know, doing even worse, basically, to Alexa. Actually doing so bad that the Damage Control just like, whoa, we're going to leave them to it. Because that's pretty brutal stuff. Like, I'm talking kendo sticks, stairs, chairs, blood. When do you see Alexa bleed? I mean, you don't see Alexa bleed. But I would have it pretty brutal, man. I would have it pretty brutal, and really start beating down on Alexa. But again, you know, there's every chance, every possibility that person is Nikki Cross, and that's what we're kind of seeing already from Nikki. The only thing I would say is that Nikki has kind of gone after everyone. We've seen her beating up Bianca. We've seen her beating up Bayley. She just seems to be crazed and literally going after everyone. She's not laser focused on Alexa. So she, as we said, you know, we've seen her kind of dishing it out to everybody. So that's the only thing that makes me think it's not Nikki. Because I think if Bray had sent Nikki to attack Alexa, I think she would be, do you know what I mean? Tunnel vision. Bang. There's my target. That's who I'm beating. That's who I'm going after. That's my victim. And off she goes. But we've seen her just giving it to everyone, man. I mean, like, you saw Bayley trying to put that 24/7 belt on her. Bayley kind of tiptoeing over, putting the belt on Nikki, and really nervous because Nikki could turn on Damage Control. I mean, I don't mind that. Again, if it turns out she is part of Bray's Wyatt Six faction, I don't mind that. I don't mind the fact that she's going after everybody. But I just think maybe if she was part of Bray's faction, she would be more focused on Alexa. So we'll have to see. So, yeah, either someone new or it could turn out to be Nikki. But I would definitely do it when Alexa is vulnerable. I think if Alexa's in a good position, that kind of makes me think that there's, like, friends with her. Like, you know, if she's doing well, then I think probably Asuka's by her side. Maybe it's Asuka. Maybe Asuka turns. How about that? What if it is Asuka that Bray has recruited? I don't know how I feel about it, but a dark Asuka. An Asuka that loses all the colour. An Asuka that goes back to like the calmer, moodier, darker. I mean, that could work. It could work. It's just seeing the dancing, colourful Asuka. You can't see that with Bray, right? So all of that would have to go. This would have to be a complete 180 shift of Asuka's character. She would have to be wearing dark colours. She'd have to be wearing like moody makeup. The masks would have to be moodier, but that's obviously very easy to achieve because Tom Savini knocks out masks in his sleep. So Asuka could have like a dark, moody mask. But maybe it's a case that, you know, it's Asuka and Alexa outnumbered by Damage Control and Nikki, backs up against the cage. Alexa thinks, well, it's all right, I've got Asuka by my side, and bang, that's the moment that Asuka's like, boosh, smacks Alexa in the face and then starts going crazy on her. And as I said, make her bleed, make her humble, make her humble, make her humble, make it an iconic, brutal moment. I want it to be a moment that's really uncomfortable to watch. That's what I want. That's what I want. I feel the same about Sammy and the Bloodline as well. I think like you want Sammy when he gets beaten up by the Bloodline, you want that to be uncomfortable because I think the more it's uncomfortable, the more you build sympathy from the fans. And I think the more that Alexa is beaten up, the more the fans will have sympathy for her. And the more that they will recognize that Asuka is completely different now, or whoever it is a problem. Like, they are legit. It builds up like, oh my God, I feel so bad for Alexa. So Alexa gets, like, sympathy. Because, in all fairness, she hasn't done anything wrong since Bray left. And she's kind of like a different character now. So I think it's fine for people to feel sorry for Alexa. But I think equally, the person attacking her needs to have respect, serious respect. The crowd needs to be like, oh my God, they're gonna kill her. You know, Asuka's gonna kill ya. Asuka's gonna kill ya. We need them chants back. That's what we need. So, why not Wendy Chu? She's similar to Funhouse Bray, and she played the Mia Ying dead girl Tian Sha. Why not Wendy Chu? Don't mind Wendy Chu. The only thing I would say with Wendy Chu is I think she is an exceptional talent. I think her acting abilities, her character work. If you think that she was Tian Sha and now she's, you know, this girl that wrestles in a onesie, like, she can do serious, she can do comedy, and she is very, very good at both. If you want a dark character that's like the girl out of the ring, then Wendy can do that for you. If you want someone that's fun and bubbly, Wendy can do that. I mean, what I would say is if this was the Fun House, where we had like fun in the Fun House, but then when it came time to wrestle, we had fiends. You know, Wendy would have been exceptional at that, you know. Could you imagine Wendy, like, in the Funhouse, like, with the kids, like, hey, like, welcome to the Funhouse, and, like, doing, like, a kids segment. Like, Wendy would have excelled at that. Not too far from what she's doing now, you know, where she's, like, in a onesie and she's always tired. And, you know, I could see that in the Funhouse working perfectly. And then when it comes to unleashing her darker side, that darker side could be the Tian Sha, could be that like girl from the ring kind of vibe, where, I mean, that was just so good. She was so good in that role. When I say so good, what I mean is just the contrast between the characters is so severe. It's really impressive that she's got that sort of range. You really don't see too many people that have got that kind of ability. It's like really good acting ability, really good characterization work, and she just really becomes these characters. So yeah, I mean, look, Wendy Chu would be great in that role. You could absolutely make it work. The only thing I would say is I think she is so talented. I don't know if you wouldn't want to use her for something else. I mean, maybe you would want to use her for this because she would be so good at it. But I think she's shown that she is someone that can really do comedy. And that is hard. That is very hard. We've seen a lot of bad comedy. And what Wendy gives you is good comedy. Someone that's actually genuinely funny. And someone that you can put out there that could have fun segments. And I suppose the concern would be if she's with Bray, she's going to be a little in the background at times because Bray will be, the shining light. Bray will be the person that takes the spotlight, understandably so. And Wendy will be a little bit in the background as a result. And I just think that maybe she could even stand on her own 2 feet. But I suppose you're right. We don't, there's plenty of time. She can come up and go with Bray and then eventually branch out and go out onto her own. It's just when you look at like females that do comedy well, there's not many. There's really not many. There's not much humor in that women's division. This is why I was such a fan of Billie Kay, because Billie Kay nailed it and did it so well. And Wendy Chu has got that ability as well. And it feels like that's something that's needed in the women's division is comedy. Like, where's the comedy? Who are the funny females? Because I don't see them. I mean, you could maybe say that Becky has a few witty lines once in a while. And obviously with her, how she dresses, like, you might get like a smile out of that. But I mean, you ain't getting any comedy out of Ronda, Liv, Shayna, Sonya, Natalia. I mean, like, you can go down the list and, like, I don't see where the comedy is in that women's division. But Wendy Chu could absolutely bring that. Billie Kay could absolutely bring that. But I suppose you're right. She could bring it as a part of being in a Wyatt family. Justin said, I knew Billie Kay would be mentioned. That's because she's the best. We always have to mention Billie Kay. And if there's any way that we can fit in Thea Hale, then we have to mention her as well, because she is also fun and bubbly and funny. And there's just not many. There's really, really not many. If I was Triple H, I mean, maybe Rhea with the mommy poppy thing with Dominic. They've stumbled across some at there, but before Dominic joined, that wasn't a thing, was it? But because Dominic's joined, they've now got this little relationship that they can do something with. And that's generating a little bit of humor. Certainly like when Dominic yesterday on Raw was saying, does Mia Yim think that she's the solution to mommy? And everyone was like, mommy? Loser. But actually show some respect, yeah, because he's the greatest lucha of all time. How dare you? But yeah, she's good, man. She's really good. I really, really do like Wendy Chu. I think she's got that ability to be funny, as does Thea Hale. Thea Hale stands assemble. Yes! I genuinely want some Thea Hale merch. I need her smiley face with the megaphone, Andre Chase megaphone. What they should have is like a caricature of her with the megaphone, and like she could be like, and she's like ready to like, shout into the megaphone. Chase you, chase you, chase you, chase you. That would be fun. Rhea is Dom's Dom. Rhea Ripley is my mommy, said Boomers TV. Billie Kay is not underrated. She is submerged in deep water. An amazing talent. She just needs to work on her in-ring. Yeah, I mean, it is true. I do admit her in-ring was never anything amazing, but I just don't think that was her role. I think her role was, kind of kicking off the show, really, or like having middle of the card kind of a thing. Not top of the card. She's never going to be winning a women's championship because, well, I don't know. Look, if you could build up, like, if she could make people laugh so much they just fell in love with her, then, who knows where we could have got to. But I saw her very much in that sort of, I suppose, riddle role, but actually funny. I mean, look, Riddle's had his moments, but for me, this hitting the bong thing is, I'm over it already, man. Like, the first time I went, okay, yeah, that's pretty good. But then, like, you hear it the next week, and you hear it next week, and I think this is about 4 weeks in now to the whole joke. And I'm like, oh, God, okay, yeah, get it. I got it. I understand what he's saying. I get it. I don't need to keep hearing it. But, Billy, I actually think would be funnier. So, yeah, not top of the cards. Around, middle of the card. Probably not even trouble in a mid-card women's belt if they had one. But, you need women at all different positions, don't you? You need, same as the guys, not everyone can be a main event star. And not everyone should be a main event star. Because look at R-Truth. R-Truth's brilliant at what he does. And sadly injured. If you heard the news, R-Truth out with a torn quad. Wrestling Andy said Theory should have cashed in on the can for the 24/7 title and got the guaranteed wins. Good shout. Good shout. In all fairness, I think he probably could have just picked it out of the trash. I don't even know if he would need to have cashed in. Triple T asked me to the prom, but I said no, said Blazed. Oh. Do you know what? I think he ended up going on his own. I didn't want to put that in the tweet. There was no WEP tonight, which is pretty good, actually, because I have been out today because I've done a few things. There might be a toy hunt on the way. There is, because I filmed one. So there is a toy hunt on the way. And also, it's my mum's birthday today. So we ended up going out for something to eat. But that's not why the WEP was cancelled. And it's not why I was late. Because I was actually here talking at the start of the stream and we wasn't live. So that was annoying. But yeah, it was good. And this is why I'm a bit not knowing what's happening. Because I haven't really been around today of all days. But we have done the breakdown. If you are just joining us, I'll quickly go through it again super quickly so that everyone is up to speed. We've got 26 minutes to go until we get to the actual show. So we've got Joe Gacy taking on Cameron Grimes, and Ava Raine is going to be at ringside. We've got Brutus Creed taking on Damon Kemp. So we've got that match. We've got the rematch for the women's tag team titles. This is going to see Katana Chance and Kaden Carter taking on Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark. We got Andre Chase taking on Charlie Dempsey. So that means Thea Hale. Thea Hale fans unite. She should be around. The new queen. We had an old queen that passed away, but we got a new queen now. We got Bron Breakker and Von Wagner on the Grayson Waller effect. We got Axiom taking on JD Manamana. And we've also got Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams going to the barber shop. So, yeah. There's also a really fun tweet here that I just saw from Grayson Waller. He said, it's always nice when fans ask for a picture. And it's actually a picture of him with Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Mouth of the South, which is pretty funny. So, yeah, a picture of Jimmy Mouth of the South with Grayson Waller. I would imagine Jimmy Mouth of the South probably has no idea who that is. But I think Grayson Waller's got a bright future, so I'm sure he'll know eventually if he isn't watching NXT already. What's your favourite Survivor Series, said Airflow? Probably 2014. Of 2014. We speak about it quite often, actually. It comes up in conversation. And that's the one where Sting made his debut. Because I always wanted Sting in WWE. And at Survivor Series 2014, that's where it actually happened. So I would have to say 2014, but I have got a massive soft spot for 1992. And that is the first show I remember watching. So to be honest, we might be looking at 30 years. 30 years of me being a WWE fan at Survivor Series. I think it is, I think it's 30 years of me being a WWE fan because the first show I remember seeing And I couldn't tell you if it was like live. Well, no, it wasn't live. It would have been on a videotape a week later. But it was Survivor Series. I distinctly remember going round my nan and granddad's, and the very first wrestling show I ever see, and I'd never even seen wrestling before. It was not only was it WWE or WWF, but I had never seen wrestling. I didn't even know wrestling was a thing. And it was Survivor Series 92. Survivor Series 92 is the very first WWE show I ever watched. And I found an amazing clip, home video footage, and it's from Christmas 1992. And the camera actually has the date. You know, old video cameras used to put on certain bits of information. Used to have like the battery, how much battery was left, and for some reason that would sometimes show. But it would always show the date, and it's got the date, and it's Christmas 1992, and I get given some wrestling stuff for that Christmas. So not only is Survivor Series 92 the first show I remember seeing, but I've got footage, which I think has gone onto the Wrestling Daze channel long ago, of me, Christmas 1992, receiving some wrestling items for Christmas. And so, yeah, this is going to be it's going to be emotional. Oh, my God, I'm going to be a mess. It's going to be 30 years of my fandom of WWE. So that will always... It's not a brilliant Survivor Series. It's a weird Survivor Series because it's actually... I don't know if it's the main event. I think it is. Brett versus Shawn. Brett versus Shawn is the main event in 1992. Obviously, 5 years before the Montreal Screwjob. And it's weird because it's a Survivor Series. It's a Survivor Series that never gets spoken about. And it features Brett versus Shawn in an encounter that is not forgotten, but just sort of, I don't know, never spoke about. It's neither of them are really hitting their stride at that point. Brett is the WWE champion. I think Shawn might even be the Intercontinental. But they're not long out of tag teams. I mean, I think Shawn had got out of the Rockers in early 92. So 92 was very much, the year of him exploring the Heartbreak Kid character. Because before that, he'd been in the Rockers. So 92 is a big year for Shawn. A big year for Brett as well. Brett had not long been champion. He actually won it on a Coliseum home video exclusive match. So it was never shown at a pay-per-view or on TV. It was a Coliseum home video where he beat Ric Flair for the title. And so he goes in as champion. I can't remember who the Intercontinental champ is, but something in my head says it's Shawn at that time. I think that's right. I could be wrong. But yeah, I love that show. Haven't seen it in a long time, actually. I've seen it loads of times, but I haven't seen it in a long time. But yeah, it's going to be emotional. Were you a kid then? Yeah, I was a kid. Yeah. How is your day? I've not watched NXT since the OG days. What goes on nowadays, said Hub Media. I mean, look, I think that for 2.0, I thought that it was a misstep. I thought that they were doing some stuff I really wasn't that keen on or really that into. I think since Vince has gone in particular, I think the show has definitely improved. I think that we've had the rebranding. I've seen some episodes of NXT that I've really enjoyed. I've seen some episodes that I've thought have been a bit... I mean, if you're going to come into this and compare it to Black and Gold and compare it to when it was a 1-hour show on the network... I don't know how you're going to get on, to be honest. Because for me, we're trying to get to those levels all the time. Sometimes we do have a 2-hour show that is, great. I think, was it 2 weeks ago? We had a really great episode where we had 2 tag title matches. Both of them were brilliant. We also had another match that I remember was like a one-on-one match. That I can't even remember who was in it now, but I remember there being 3 great matches. The reveal of Ava Raine was in there as well. And there was just a lot that they gave us for those 2 hours. But that is, I would probably say, an exception rather than the norm. The norm is like, yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. And I think it might be one of those episodes tonight. But man, I used to watch NXT every week when it was on the network, WWE Network. It just felt like they were killing it week after week after week. It just felt like the best show. And I think we're still trying to get to those levels. I think it's so hard with 2 hours. I just think 2 hours is so hard to book. Certainly when you've got 2 hours of basically a lot of people that are trying to learn. A lot of people that haven't quite got it or have only just joined. You know, we've got a real mixture of abilities. And so, you know, back in the day, we used to have just the biggest indie names who had obviously already established themselves and had wrestled thousands of matches already. Now we've got people that are wrestling their first match. You know, we're getting people that are finding their way in wrestling, and I think that's hard. So I don't know. Watch it, definitely. See what you think. I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are. But I would say keep an open mind. Because for me personally, I don't think the current NXT is anywhere near as good as the 1 hour black and gold NXT that we used to have. But I suppose you have to look at it as a different product now, you know? That NXT is dead. It's gone. Black and gold's dead. They've tried to bring it back with the new logo. But that's more white and gold. I think people are calling this the white and gold era rather than the black and gold era. I don't know. Either way, I would say this is, you know, probably as good as it's been for quite a while. YTJ said, what do you think about Austin Theory cashing in on the US champion instead of Roman? Sucks. Awful. I've seen people saying that it was really clever. I think they're insane. I don't think there's anything clever about it. No one can tell me that's clever. No one can tell me that he had the possibility to cash in on a world title. The main focus of every wrestler is to be a world champion, right? Either that or it's to avenge some grudges. Like, you know, Bray might want to go after Randy Orton. He might want to go after Alexa Bliss. He might not be that interested right now in going after a title, but there was a time when he was. It's just maybe he's got some other priorities at the moment. But by and large, every wrestler wants to be the man. Every wrestler wants to main event WrestleMania, main event pay-per-views, and the way you do that is by being either WWE or Universal champion. You're not going to be main event in pay-per-views with a United States championship. Like, when do we ever see a United States champion main event pay-per-view shows? We don't. They might main event the occasional Raw, but they are not the guy. Like, whoever the main champion is tends to be the guy. I mean, when do we ever say that the guy, the person that's carrying the company, when do we ever say that that's the mid-card person? It's not, is it? It's always the WWE champion or the Universal champion. So it's just doesn't. It's just awful. It's just awful. It makes Austin Theory look stupid, look scared. Dare I say, lack self-belief, which I never would have thought he lacked. I mean, there's no reason as to why he didn't cash in on Roman. Where was he at Crown Jewel? Like, why didn't he come down at Crown Jewel and just have a look at the situation? Why cash in now? It's November. He's got December, January, February, March, April. He's got up to Money in the Bank, which I think is like May, June. He's got 6 months. He's got 6 months. You're telling me that within the next 6 months, there is not going to be a time where he can cash in? How does he know that Roman's going to have both belts? Does he not read the internet? Does he not know that the USA Network want a champion back on Raw? So even if he is struggling at the moment to cash in on Roman and cash in on the Bloodline, don't worry about it. because I don't think that in 6 months' time, Roman will still have both belts. And to be honest, the only way that I could even agree that cashing in on a mid-card belt makes sense would be, I suppose there's a couple of ways. First of all, if he really hates the champion, like let's say Bray had Money in the Bank and Randy was the mid-card champion, then I could understand. Because it's not about the belt then, is it? It's about taking something from Randy. It's about that feud. It's about the fact that he hates Randy. He wants to take things away from Randy. And the United States champion would be one of those things. So I could understand in that regard. The other regard would be that if it's, May and he's running out of time and he has tried so many times to cash in on Roman and every time he's been thwarted. And he's like, well, what do I do? Because I cannot cash in on Roman. I have tried 22 times to cash in on Roman. I cannot get past the bloodline. And I don't want to waste this opportunity. I'm going to have to start looking at other champions. At that point, then I would be like, okay, I can sort of see where he's coming from now. Like, time is starting to slip away. And he's only got days left. Maybe hours left. If he doesn't cash in on someone, the whole thing's just going to go to waste. So then I would be like, man, how has he not found a way to cash in on Roman? But fair play. He has tried 20-odd times. He has been thwarted 20-odd times. So I understand. This makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. It does not make sense. Does not make sense. And the reason why I'm banging that drum so hard is I have had people send me tweets telling me this is genius. And then they will list about 5 reasons, all of which are not genius. Right? It's awful. It's awful. Now, if you think it's genius and you think it's brilliant, and you've heard what I've said and what other people have said, fair play. That's what I'm going to say. Fair play. Because what I appreciate is that people jump on, we have conversations, people put their opinions in the chat, I try to read them. Obviously, when I'm ranting, I don't always get to them. But if you've come here and you've listened to what I've said and it still has not changed your minds, or you've read what other people have put and it still hasn't changed your mind, and you still think that it's genius, the only thing I can say is, do you know what? Fair play. That's what makes the world go round, is different opinions and people seeing things from different perspectives and all of this. The only thing I can tell you is that people have said that to me on Twitter, and then the explanations they've given is drivel. Like, people have told me that it made the United States Championship more prestigious. No, it didn't. In no way is the United States Championship a bigger championship now that Austin Theory cashed in on it. In no way. It didn't do anything for the championship. What it did is it made Theory look stupid. It didn't make the belt look bigger. It made Theory look more stupid. And the fact that he then failed in the cash-in is just, it's just staggering, isn't it? The only reason you would even go for a mid-card belt is because you've accepted that you just cannot cash in for the main title. So you've looked at Roman, you've looked at the bloodline. For some reason, you've decided that with 6 months left of you having potential cash-in moments, you've decided, well, there's just no way. First of all, I don't understand that. I don't understand how with 6 months to go you would come to that conclusion. So, stupid. So you've decided to go after something that's easier. Well, clearly you've picked the wrong moment, haven't you? Because you didn't win it, did you? So not only have you gone after a lower bout, a belt that doesn't mean as much, that is not going to mean that you main event pay-per-views, but you didn't even succeed when you cashed in on it. Seth was still putting up. It's not as if it was a golden moment where Seth was motionless in the ring. Like, Seth was conscious. He was even telling people about his injuries, and Theory still thought that was the right moment. Clearly it wasn't, because Seth put up a fight. It's not as if he got him in the ring and it was 1, 2, 3, new champion. It was far from that. It was a proper back and forth match. And Theory just completely, in every sense of the word, botched it. And actually, it's not Theory, it's Papa H. I'm sorry, but Papa H for me takes a big L on this. The only thing I would say is I'm waiting to see. I'm just trying to think, is there any way that this can be saved? Is there anything that can be said where I go, oh, do you know what? That is genius, actually. That is clever. Is there any swerve that's coming that I have not seen? Is there a swerve coming that I just haven't factored in? Has Papa H outswerved me? If he has, I take everything back that I've said, and I will quite happily sit here and go, I hold my hands up. I did not consider that. That is genius, right? I was wrong. I will happily say that. But I cannot think of it. I can't think of it. The only thing I can think is that he's going to say it was an open challenge, and for an open challenge, I shouldn't have to cash in my money in the bank. But my counter argument is it's still a mid-card belt, and I don't think the open challenge would have stood. I think if he had spoke to the refs and said, is the open challenge still open, I think the refs would have said, no, like, you know, he's not medically cleared, like, we've got some injury concerns here. And I think that Seth would have said, look, if you want a shot, I'll give it you next week or something along those lines, but I'm not, after what Bobby's just done to me, I am not medically able to compete. So I am not, my medical condition is not the same as when I issued the challenge, hence the challenge is now closed, right? So I don't think the open challenge is an option. And I'm fully prepared for that now to be the explanation. And I'm fully prepared for next week, Austin Theory to be talking to Adam Pearce, saying that he should get his briefcase back. But if that is the explanation, I'm already telling you why it doesn't wash with me and why that is not an explanation to me and why that is potentially Papa H trying to be clever when I don't see that as clever, and that's just not acceptable to me. I just don't think that explains what we've seen. So I hate it. I really hate it. For me, I think it is the worst ever cash in. I really do. If you cash in like Corbin did and fail trying for a world title, at least you was trying for a world title. Do you know what I mean? If you cash in on a world title and fail, fine. You took your shot and you didn't succeed. That's fine. Austin Theory took his shot at a mid-card belt and didn't succeed. It's so much worse. It's so much worse. If he had cashed in on Roman and had lost, I don't think I wouldn't have had a problem with it. I would have been like, well, it's not what I was expecting, and it's certainly not what I would have booked. But he thought that was the right moment. He cashed it in. He tried, and it failed on him. I wouldn't have complaints. He went for it, and it didn't work. I just cannot get my head around the fact this is the mid-card belt. I just cannot get my head around it. And in 24 hours, no one has sent me anything that I've read that has explained it. And to be honest, we're talking about the minority here because the vast majority of people were not impressed. Like, I don't think that I'm in a minority trying to convince you. I don't think I'm in the minority trying to change your mind. I think there's probably some out there. And as I've made clear, respect. Yeah, respect. If you think it was genius, respect. But I do not. I've not seen anything that's changed my mind on that. Gaming in Real Time said, Swerve, you can only cash in on a world champion. It doesn't take away the fact that he still tried to cash in on a mid-card belt, though, does it? I mean, you can only cash in on a world champion would give him back the briefcase, right? So that would be potentially an argument. We have spoke about what the wording in the Money in the Bank contract actually says. So if it does say you can only cash in on a world champion, I'm not aware that that's the wording. But if it does say that, then the only thing I would say is, why was he not aware? Why were the WWE Universe not aware? Why were the commentators not aware of all of those factors, right? So I would have questions as to why, for example, if he can only cash in on a world championship, why did the referee accept it? Why was the referee not aware? So if we are saying you can only cash in on a world championship, there's a lot of people there that did not know that, including the WWE officials. Like, what? I don't understand. Like, how was he able to actually cash that in then? How was that moment able to happen? Because it happened, the match happened. He didn't get thwarted. He actually gave it over. The ring announcer announced it. Ring announcer didn't know. The referee accepted it and cashed it in. He didn't know. Poor Seth Rollins had to have a match. He wasn't saying, oh, you can only do it for a world champion. So if that's the road they go down, no one knew that was the wording. Even the officials. I find that a little hard to take, right? But I can go with it. Still does not change the fact he tried to cash in on a mid-card belt. The damage would still be done to Austin Theory, because Austin Theory is someone that I saw taking a lot of L's, knowing that he would cash in for a world title next year. And now here he is seemingly throwing it away on a mid-card belt. I mean, that sucks. It doesn't change the fact that he tried to cash in on a mid-card belt. And so, like, it means I just don't look at him the same way now. I saw him as being, like, this kid that had been the youngest, I think, United States champ, the youngest Money in a Bank winner, and was trying to become, one of the youngest world champions. And he threw it away to try and get a belt that he'd already had. And it's just, I can't get my head around it, why you did that. I can't get my head around why you tried to do that. So maybe you're right. Maybe that will be a way of them giving him the briefcase back. Maybe that'll be a way of giving him back, but I ain't going to applaud that. That ain't going to get respect from me. That ain't going to be a way that I'm going to stand and go, do you know what, respect? That's clever. That's clever, because it still makes Austin Theory look like a douche for trying to cash in on a mid-card belt. And it doesn't make the WWE officials look great, the fact that they didn't know that rule and that they accepted it, and that poor Seth Rollins, who was injured, had to have a match. So, yeah, wouldn't be crazy about that explanation. He is totally going to get it back. I think there's a chance. I do. I agree. I think there's a chance. If you watch the watch along, you will see that throughout the whole thing, I'm trying to work out how he gets it back. One of them I remember saying was, this will be a no contest. So the match will be a no contest, and that'll be it, and he'll get the briefcase back that way. Because if the match is a no contest, then that means that, the match basically never happened. So he should be able to get the briefcase back. But it wasn't. It was a clean finish. So I don't disagree that they'll try and find a way of giving it him back. He'll try and find a way, I know that much. I can't find a way that makes me go, oh, that's clever. Because at the end of the day, he still cashed in on a mid-card belt. Right, Schism. Here are Schism, Ava Raine, Grizzled Young Veterans, Joe Gacy, getting ready to make their way down to take on Cameron Grimes. To the moon. Joe Gacy versus Cameron Grimes. It'll get so much heat. Triple H will do another Money in the Bank at the end of the year, says Keaton. I don't know, but I genuinely don't know. I mean, I feel a bit silly, if I'm being completely truthful, because I kept standing up for Triple H, and I kept saying, look, he's not burying Austin Theory. He's not trying to bury Austin Theory, because what he's doing is he's having Austin Theory lose matches now because he doesn't need to win now, because next year he'll cash in and he'll get a massive win and he'll be a world champion. And he'll be a world champion that you don't want him to be the champ, but he'll be the champ. And then it's down to a baby face to come along and get that belt off of him. And I just sort of felt like I knew what was going on. I really felt like I had a read of what Triple H was trying to do. And at no point in that equation did I factor in that he would make him cash in for the United States Championship. So clearly I didn't have a read. I do still think, though, that they will try and find a way of giving him the belt back. I do still think that will happen, but yeah, I did not predict that happening at all. Even when he came out, I was like, he won't cash in. I think he came out, and I remember saying before we went to the commercial break, I was like, he won't cash in. Open challenge, innit? Open challenge. He'll accept the open challenge. He doesn't need to cash in. Imagine my surprise. Imagine my surprise. Anyway, I think that is enough about the cash-in. It was obviously a big moment, and it's right that we talk about it. But it does not affect NXT. And what we've got Cameron Grimes against Joe Gacy to kick off the show. Ava Raine stepping down to the outside, and we are underway with Cameron Grimes. Arish Mine said Triple H is destroying what Vince was so hard on, said Arish Mine. It's weird because, I mean, I actually think Theory is the next big thing. I think Theory is as good as what Vince saw. I think Theory, I've seen some of his matches before he even went back to NXT. He used to wrestle with Seth being one of Seth's disciples, actually, going back to like 2020 when Seth was the Messiah. Austin Theory briefly was one of his disciples. And I can remember him having some matches around that time and thinking, wow, this guy's really good. And I remember being excited, actually, when he wasn't a disciple anymore, because it wasn't very cool. I understood, it was just something for him to do, but I wasn't really feeling it. But he went back to NXT, and I was really quite excited, because I was like, yeah, this guy's really good. Like, maybe he needs a bit more NXT work, but by and large, he was there or thereabouts. Like, you could sort of understand why he had already been called up. Like, he got called up to the main roster, and he was working with Seth on the main roster. It's just that it was happening during lockdown. And so as a result, it's not like he was in front of a crowd and getting to interact with them. He's so good with his crowd interaction. He's jacked as well. He's got a good natural size about him. He's so confident in the microphone. Love the fact that he can go out there, people start chanting at him, and he can respond, and he's like got good back and forth with the crowds. Matches are good. They're not 5-star classics at this stage, but he's got a good moveset. He can sell well, work a good pace. He plays the heel arrogant role very well. I think he ticks a lot of boxes, I really do. And then you look at his age, and he's about, 23? Something like this. I mean, so he's got 20. If you think he's got, no word of a lie, Austin Theory should feature at WrestleMania 60. Think about that. Austin Theory, I can't see any reason as to why he won't be at WrestleMania 60, WrestleMania 61. If he's, say, 23 now, I don't know his exact age, but I think he's 23. In 21 years' time, he will be 44. That's like what I don't even know how old Randy Orton is, but it's around Randy Orton territory. It's around AJ Styles territory when we get to WrestleMania 60. It's amazing. Like what he's doing now, and how people are comparing him right now to everyone else on the main roster, as they should. And I think, in certain places like match quality, for example, he might be coming just a little short. It's not bad. It's not a disaster by any means. But if you then factor in that he should be at WrestleMania 60, you go, oh, that's why Vince was pushing him. Because he's still got development to go. He's going to get more experience. You know, he's still picking up experience all the time. Really benefiting from working house shows and all the, Raws. Really benefiting actually by having that briefcase. That briefcase gave him a reason to be around and be involved in main events. Austin Theory at this stage in his career is not going to be in main events because he is kind of a mid-card champion. He's someone that you can see competing at this stage in his career for the Intercontinental belt or the United States Championship. I mean, he was already the United States champion. So in my mind, he's a mid-carder, right? So he's a mid-carder, does a decent job. But he's got a great size. He's super young, great on the microphone. Not MJF great, but just confident, like he can do promos. And he is someone that I think's got a really bright future. And Vince clearly felt the same. I don't get it. I just don't get how Triple H doesn't see that. I mean, I could only imagine that it's just not the right time under Triple H. Triple H wants to focus on other people. He wants to focus on Kevin Owens, wants to focus on Cody, wants to focus on Gable Steveson next year, wants to focus on Sammy and Finn and keep Roman in the mix. And maybe he's just looked at it and gone, it's too crowded, man. It's too crowded. I cannot find a way of getting Austin Theory into the mix with where we're going. Where we're going is so crowded that I can't find a way of using him. So I don't know. I don't know if he's come to that conclusion. I certainly don't think that Triple H doesn't rate Theory, because I don't see how he can't. For his age and what he's doing, I can't see how he doesn't rate him. I'd be stunned if he didn't rate him. I'd be stunned. So I don't think it's a case he doesn't rate him. I just think that the truth, I think, would be that he just doesn't have anything for him because there are other people ahead of him in the queue. And I could understand that. So it could be that. But it could also be that we will see Theory get that briefcase back. He could get it back. This is why the conversation has been so long, because I am expecting him to get it back. I will be shocked if he doesn't. I am expecting him to get it back. I am expecting next week him to be ranting and raving and demanding that he gets it back. And as we said, I think, was it Gaming in Real Time said, maybe the stipulation is it has to be a world champion. So hence we explained why, for me, that wouldn't quite wouldn't quite work. Maybe it's a case that because it was an open challenge, you didn't need to. Again, we've spoke about why that doesn't wash, why that doesn't work. And I can't find the swerve. I can't find the one that makes me go, oh, that's genius. Because at the end of the day, he still is trying to cash in on a mid-card belt, and there's not really a way of avoiding that fact. And it just makes him look stupid. But anyway, I keep saying it. We need to focus on NXT. We have just been at a commercial break, though, hence why we were chatting about Money in the Bank again. But big back body drop by Joe Gacy. It starts Theory winning the briefcase at first. Vince pushed Theory so hard. He's not ready for main event. No one wanted it, and no one thought that Theory would beat Roman. I thought, well, first of all, I didn't think he needed to beat Roman, because I don't think that by the time we get to, say, WrestleMania, I don't think Roman will have both belts, because I do think that USA Network wants one of the belts back on their show. And I also think, do they want Roman to have both belts in his Mania match? They've got 2 days of WrestleMania. Obviously, this year, they were able to get Stone Cold out of retirement. And so he main evented the first night. I don't think you're going to have Stone Cold to main event this year. So, I mean, you could have The Rock. But, I think there's a chance that Roman will still have the Universal, but I think there's a great chance that he does not have both, and that we do actually get a WWE title match. So, again, I don't get this idea that Theory had to beat Roman, because we don't know that Roman is still going to have both belts by Money in the Bank next year. I mean, it's still so far away that it's ridiculous to just write it off and say, well, he never stood a chance against Roman, so he might as well have. I mean, it's crazy to say that. How can you say that? It's November and he's got till June. Like, he had so much time, and I don't think that Roman would have both belts by June. And even if I'm wrong, and he does have both belts by the time we get to the next Money in the Bank event, are you honestly telling me there would be no moment between now and then when Roman is vulnerable and Theory could cash in? You're telling me that there's not a moment, not a chance that Roman is going to be down, beaten, he's just been in a war with someone, and, you know, Theory can't choose that moment? That's what the Money in the Bank gives you. I've seen this argument, people saying, well, he never stood a chance against Roman. How can you say that? How can you say that? Look at all the cash-in moments that we've had in the past when people have cashed in on champions, you know, but they've done it at opportune moments. Didn't Daniel Bryan cash in on the Big Show? Like, you know, you go back to when Daniel Bryan became World Heavyweight Champion. Would people think Daniel Bryan would have a chance against the Big Show? Daniel Bryan had never been a world champion, but he beat the Big Show because the Big Show had just been in a match and had been beaten down and was vulnerable. That's the whole point of Money in the Bank. The whole point of Money in the Bank is to cash in at the moment that is most advantageous for you. Of course he could beat Roman. He doesn't have to beat a healthy Roman. He has to just pin Roman. That's all he has to do. Ava Raine getting involved. Ava Raine pushes Cameron Grimes. Joe Gacy mops it up. And it is a victory for Gacy. Smile on the face of Ava Raine. Cameron Grimes has been defeated. Ava Raine getting into the ring, going over, hugging Schism, staring at Cameron Grimes. So, outside interference by The Rock's daughter. She learnt from the best, eh? She learnt from the best. There's a rumor Triple H wants to end Roman's reign as champion. That was a thumbnail that I saw. I didn't bother watching it. I just thought it was clickbait. Probably is. I mean, I've not seen any words on that. Okay, so Schism standing together in the ring. The Schism. So Ava Raine interference. Nathan Frazier is injured, I think. You will be back before you know it, says Axiom. Here's JD Manamana. You know zero about that 4-letter word called pain, said JD. So JD walking away. JD says he knows what Nathan Frazier has done. Nathan Frazier looks a little bit impressed because I think he got it right. Because JD knows all about pain. Okay, so a little backstage interaction between Axiom and JD. Coming up next, we're going to have Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams going to the barber shop. Going to the barber shop. Miguel said, spoiler alert, Sasha Banks and Naomi and Charlotte and Becky are going to return on Friday. David Walker, shout out to you, buds. Hope you are well. Shout out to you. Am I up to date with all of those? No, I'm not. There's David. David Walker said, best there is, best there was, best there ever will be. David, shout out to you, my friend. I'm confused. Have we got two David Walkers? I've got a David Walker with a Stoke City profile picture. I live quite close to Stoke, you know, about half an hour away from Stoke. So we've got David Walker there. And then we've got another different David Walker, I believe, that's got Bret the Hitman Hart. I don't live next to him. But Bret the Hitman Hart, I think with the winged eagle, which, I mean, it's always lovely to see the winged eagle. So I just want to give a big shout out to all the David Walkers in the world. It seems like we are collecting them like Pokemon. So if you do have any friends that are called David Walker, let them know about the stream. I would like to try and get 5. I'd like to try and get 5 David Walkers in the community. So we've managed to grab a couple at the moment, which is very, very exciting. So shout out to all the David Walkers who are here to join us all as Thea Hale stands. Welcome to the Thea Hale fan club. Big shout out to all the David Walkers and people that are called other names. So, yeah, David Walker, shout out to you. David Walkers, shout out to you. All the David Walkers. Wes. It's a horrible name. It's not David Walker, is it? Can't you be David Wesker? Wes420 says, Manar Manar. Yeah, Manar Manar. JD, Manar Manar. Wes, shout out to you, David Wesker. David Walker is the future of WWE. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big Time Baxter said, Raw post-Crown Jewel only did 1.5. Did it? Did it? I haven't seen. I've had a busy day. I actually had plans today to do a video. There's a video that I really want to do. And today was just a bad day for me, to be honest. Because, as I said, I went and did a toy hunt. And it was my mum's birthday, so we went out for something to eat. And then we came back, and pretty much that was it, you know, setting up the stream. I watched Walking Dead. Love that show. So I watched Walking Dead, and yeah, then pretty much, you know, it's time to stream. So just, yeah, not a great day for keeping up with the news. But that's interesting. So Raw post-Crown Jewel did 1.5, no pay-per-view bump. Meltzer tweeted, the competition was weaker than usual. The third hour is the third lowest hour ever. 1.39, no Halloween excuse. I mean, look, what I will say is it's getting pretty close to December. I mean, it's not the best excuse in the world, but I do know that December is god-awful for ratings. I genuinely don't know why. I can only put it down to the fact that it's Christmas time. There's no need to be afraid, right? And people are out shopping. They're out with family. It's just not, I don't know, it's just not a time where people are sitting in watching wrestling for whatever reason. So, you know, you never get like a really exciting pay-per-view in December. It was normally like TLC, which is really, you know, bland. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really find much excuse outside of that. This time of year is just a bit of a quiet time of year. But you would expect it to be better than that. But we've spoke a long time about how the ratings are trending down. So, right. We don't listen to that. People are always talking about Mello. Talk your talk, Carmelo. Talk your talk. Yeah. Let's be real. No one has pinned me for my title. I went one-on-one with Grimes. I got my title back. So they're just talking about what's happened with the North American Championship. Wes didn't beat me. He's not the A champ. He's the paper champ. This segment's pretty good, man. Wes has got the whole NXT universe behind him. That comment hasn't gone down very well. What's he going to do when he's in the ring with me? Until you beat me in the ring, 1, 2, 3, you are not him. So, Carmelo making a good point, you know, saying he's never been pinned. I'm just trying to get a read as to where he's going here. I want him to go after Braun, but I think he's going to go after Wes. Okay. I thought Triple H was the answer to ratings decline. A lot of people all claim Vince was the problem and that Triple H would bring Raw back over 2 million. I mean, I think that there was optimism, and I think it's right there was optimism. It's tricky, isn't it? Because we have spoke about it before. Like, was Vince actually really clever? Because he knew that whatever he did, the ratings would be what the ratings were. Did the lights go out? Have the lights gone out? Whoa, this is cool. My name is written on the walls. My voice sounds through the halls, and soon I will be in NXT. It was always meant to be. Sincerely, Scripps. Scripps. Sincerely, Scripps. Scripps has spoken. That's pretty cool. My name is written on the walls. My voice sounds through the halls. And soon I'll be in NXT to watch the whole thing fall. Pain is truly among thee. Imagine what will happen as it was always meant to be. Sincerely, Scripps. Scripty Scripps. Are they just acting like that's not happened? Did I miss the commentators saying something? Sol Ruka's come out, and I think they're acting like nothing's happened. I think they just said Scripps certainly leaving his mark. Well, he's certainly leaving his mark, Scripps, isn't he? Turning all the lights off, sending a message to the crowd. He's certainly left his mark. Yeah, I'd say he left his mark. Elektra Lopez getting into the ring. My name is Scripps. Your crush, Elektra. I do like Elektra, but I might have moved on to Thea Hale now. She entertains me a lot more. Elektra Lopez just doesn't entertain me as much these days. She's got to work harder for my affection. There's another girl on the scene now. My name is Scripps. World Cup is in 10 days. How excited are you for the World Cup? Will the World Cup affect WWE and AEW in the ratings? No, it's on at a different time. So World Cup is on about, I think there's a game on at 2. There's a game on at 4. And then I think there's a game on at about 6, something like that. So the games are on around that time, UK-wise. So the wrestling is on about 3 hours after the last game ends. About when the last game finishes each day, because of the time difference, the wrestling comes on about 3 hours after. So they're on at completely different times. My new crush is Sol Ruka. She can use, abuse, and ruin me. My new crush is Scripps. That's my new crush. If anyone ever wants to know who I've got the hots for, it's Scripps. Hello, my name is Scripps. I'm coming for your heart. Beans make you fart. Sincerely, Scripps. I didn't know where to take that message then. I thought it was best to get out whilst I was winning. They won't be our SmackDown. I'm looking forward to the World Cup, says Hayden. Hello, Hayden. Sonny has got Timmy's. I said I'd show you that picture, didn't I? Of Timmy's, which I know is going to interest absolutely no one. But it's quite a big Timmy's. Breakfast, £3.49. So that's the first Timmy's in the UK that I have ever seen. That was in Wolverhampton, and I drove past it. And what's it say? It says breakfast meals, £3.49. Crispy chicken sandwich, £1.99. New holiday hot dogs. That's what it says on the signs in the front. I don't think I can make out the actual menu. It's a bit too small. But you can see a car there. I believe it's an Audi. It's an Audi. So there was an Audi that was in Smith's. At Tim Hortons. So there we go. Keep saying Smith's because I'm going to... I did a toy hunt. And this was what I saw. So there we go. First UK Tim Hortons. If you know anything about Sunny, you'll know she is absolutely besotted with it. A squash win really here for Elektra Lopez. Elektra Lopez getting the win. Sol Ruka collided into Elektra Lopez in the corner. Ruka went up top. Lopez grabbed her, hurled her down into the center of the ring, grabbed a handful of hair, got her in the middle of the ring, sit down power bomb, and managed to roll her up to get the victory. It's a win for Elektra Lopez. Elektra Lopez, I'm back. That's right. That's right. And she gets attacked. She gets attacked by Indy Hartwell. Indy Hartwell attacks. Indy Hartwell strikes. It's all happening right now. Ah! Mr. Chase, let me at him. Look at the reactions. Look how big her reactions are to everything. Everything. Tell him, Duke. Tell him. She's the best, man. She's the absolute best. best. The best. The greatest. The greatest female in the history of this sport. A lot of people might go with Manami Toyota. They might go with Trish Stratus. They might be leaning towards, I don't know, Fabulous Moolah. Maybe. You know, she did have that women's championship for 20-odd years. Maybe they'd be going, like, really old school. And going back to some of the original women that kind of really paved the way. But everyone's wrong. It's Thea Hale. She's the greatest female wrestler in the history of the sport. Amazing. Now all she's got to do is go inside of Timmy's. Oh, my God. Max said, put her in the Hall of Fame now. Yes, Max. Yes. Max gets it. Max gets it. Max NUFC. Called it. When she's on, like, this could be the worst. It's not. It's all right. It's an all right episode. But it could be the worst episode of NXT. And when she's on, like, you instantly she brings so much energy. Like, you cannot help but smile. Cannot help but smile. Like, everything. Even when she was looking in a bucket, she was like, all the facial expressions, every reaction, everything is just energy and big and over the top. And I could understand some people being like, oh man, she's just too full on for me, but she just makes me smile. I think they've got something really special with her. If she can maintain that kind of energy, I can't see why not. Theory's future company is NXT, said Joanna. Release her now, said Justin. I agree. Release her to the main roster. Unleash her on the whole WWE universe. Why, Justin, you're right. Why are we holding her back? Why are we holding her back? We need to release her and put her out there in front of all of the wrestling fans. She needs to be on the main roster. We need to get her onto that WrestleMania. We need to get her a match at WrestleMania right now. Right now. Justin, you can lead the charge. You can lead that charge. Elijah Mania said, release her to me. Listen, I don't care how you express your affection for Thea. I don't care if it is admiration. I don't care if you want to do it by simping, right? This is an all-inclusive Thea Hale fan club. That's what this is. All-inclusive, yeah? We welcome everyone. We welcome the pervs. We welcome the simps. We welcome people that just think, yeah, she's all right. She's pretty fun. Yeah? We welcome those people, right? Everyone is welcome. I was going to say the haters, but there are none. There are no haters. Hey, here's that promo I never got to see. Raise the stakes. This is, it is a Young Rock segment. Becky? Becky as Wendy Richter. That's fun. That looks good. That's good. Right, we've got JC. Oh my God, we're going to get another one of these toxic attraction moments. There's a woman on my screen and it isn't Thea Hale. What's this? What's going on? Isn't she Cyndi Lauper? She is, yeah. What about Stalkers? I was going to say Stalkers, but the whole Sonya Deville thing went into my head, and I was like, nah, probably shouldn't encourage that. I tell you what, stalkers are welcome here because then I'm guessing they're probably not doing the stalking. Hopefully they're just sat in front of a computer, like joining us. So yes, stalkers are welcome as long as they're not actually stalking, because that's illegal. And I don't think we should encourage that, to be honest. I don't think that's what we should be talking about. Guys, say no to stalking, yeah? If you are a stalker, become a simp. JC has been attacked. And he's been attacked by Alba Fire. Someone whoever's in charge of the graphics was kind enough to change the name. Mandy Rose has been muted. See you next week. Toodly bye. Call disconnected. Bye. Right, there is Caden Cart. We got more women, and they're still not Thea Hale. But they are the women's tag champs. Right, Dempsey coming down. So Alba Fire attacks JC Jane. There's Charlie Dempsey. Proper throwback, Charlie Dempsey. Love it. Love it. My love is Mandy Rose, says Nick. Miguel said, why didn't Mandy Rose marry Otis and change Otis's last name to Otis Rose? Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Otis Rose. That's nice. David Walker. Oh, my God. Is that... it's the... I am a little disappointed. It's the same David. I thought we'd gathered another one. But it's the same David Walker. But, wow, I really appreciate the support, dudes. Here's Thea Hale. What have we got? We've got a Victory Hippo on the loose in the chat. And we've got a Thea Hale on the loose inside NXT. Thea Hale racing down. So, David, really appreciate the support. You don't need to do that, by the way. But, oh, God, I love this girl. Running round in a circle. Dempsey in the way. Dempsey just kind of squared up to Thea Hale. Andre Chase getting ready to start. Thea Hale on the outside with her megaphone. Let me at him, Mr. Chase. Let me at him. I think this, all joking aside, the kind of character that Thea Hale has got is very much like the Butch character. You know, the scrappy do. Oh, let me at him, Mr. Chase. Let me at him. It's very much that character. Look, Duke Hudson's having to hold her back. So, yeah, you know, it's very much, let me at him. It works for Thea. It doesn't work as well for Butch, in my opinion. Chase you, Andre Chase, in control. So, yeah, David, shout out to you, but really, really appreciate the support. It did not go unnoticed. Your Victory Hippo. But I was hoping for another David Walker. We've got two at the moment. David Robert Wood, can't you change your name? I feel like you're so close. Do you know what I mean? I think, if anything, it's a bit rude that you're just sticking with your own name. Dempsey's trying to work on the arm here. So, Dempsey versus Andre Chase. With... Oh, hang on. With Thea Hale and someone else. Thea Hale on the outside with a towel. Chase you, chance. Andre Chase picks up. Atomic drop against the ropes goes Dempsey. He reverses it. Nice snapmare. Oh, he's calling for it. I don't know what it is, but he's calling for it. What's it spell? Chase U. Chase U, man. I didn't get it at first. I really didn't get it at first. I totally get it now. Just for different type of gimmick. Fun. Energy. Andre Chase trying to get over to the ropes. Duke wanted to cheat. He's trying to push the ropes closer. Referee's having a word. Come on, Mr. Chase. Come on, Mr. Chase. He's going to... Don't throw the towel in. Duke Hudson's looking at the towel. He throws the towel in. Oh, my God. Thea Hale can't believe that he's done that. The towel has been thrown in. I want to see. What did she say? What? Come on, Mr. Chase! Come on, Mr. Chase! Towel thrown in by Duke Hudson. Say. No. As a result of throwing in the towel, is that a thing? As a result of throwing in the towel, the winner of this match. When's that? Like, I know throwing in the towel is a thing. We've seen it before. I just didn't know how they would word it. As a result of throwing in the towel. I don't feel like that's how they should word it. Isn't it like... I don't know how you'd word it, actually. It's not a ref stoppage, is it? It's not ref stoppage. It's not a submission. But when does someone have a towel at ringside? Like, you never see it, do you? Have they even got... How do we know that he's even got the authority to do that? Like, what if Paul Heyman had a towel and he threw it in during Roman Reigns' match? Would Roman lose the belts? He would, I presume. But who gives Duke Hudson the authority to be able to throw the towel in? He's not the manager. He's not got the manager's license. The old Helen Hart maneuver, said Wrestle with Andy. Yeah, it's a grey area for me. He's not a family member. He's not a manager. He's a student, isn't he? Isn't he a student of Chase U? So does that give him the right to be able to throw that towel in? If Thea Hale threw the towel in, would that stand as well? I'm not down on it. I'm just questioning it. Roman wouldn't lose the belts. It's probably Solo's towel. 24th of December 2018 was the lowest Raw with 1.22. Used to happen a lot in the old wrestling when every wrestler had managers and cornermen. Yeah. But that is different, is it not? Because that's not a manager. Does he class as a cornerman? Again, just to be clear, I'm not down on it. I'm just questioning it because who gave him permission to be able to do that? Like, he threw a towel in, but why does that signify the end of the match if he's just a student? If he's just a student of Chase U? He's not the manager, is he? He's not a manager. Is he a corner man? Don't know. It's an old rule with the towel being thrown in, said John. I remember when Raw would average 3 million a few years ago, says Bilal. MJF did it in Chris Jericho versus Cody match, says Steve. Thea Hale, yeah. John said it doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter who does it. As long as anyone's got a towel. Members of the audience can bring a towel. And if they chuck him in, well, match has ended because that dude in the front row has just thrown the towel in. Big Time Baxter said Thea Hale is 19. I don't know if that changes any of the simps' minds. All of us might get arrested. It's not, well, I mean, I don't simp Thea Hale. I have an affection, appreciation is the words I was looking for. I have an appreciation for Thea Hale. I stan. I don't simp. I stan. But if I did simp, I think we established 19 is fine. 19's fine here in the UK. Maybe not in America, but we are old school over here. So 19's fine. David said, there's only one of me. I'm also Bret Hart. You're the best. Hang on, David. Are you claiming that you're the other... Are you like Funhouse Bray and The Fiend? Is that what's going on, David? Have you got your darker side that is is the Stokes? Is this your... I feel like this is the lighter side. Like, oh, there's only one of me. You seem quite nice and everything here. And then I feel like maybe the Bret Hart with that's like your Fiend alter ego. Interesting, David. Shout out to you, my friend. Shout out to you. Shout out to all the David Walkers, however many there are. We've got one claiming that he might have an alter ego. Right, we've got Kiana James, the fake Stephanie. She's arrived at Briggs & Jensen's bar. Fallon Henley is behind the bar. I've offered far more than what this bar is worth. Fallon says no. Fallon says the bar is not for sale. So that's what was in the envelope. Do you remember last week there was an envelope and we didn't know what was in it? It was an offer to buy the bar. My uncle taught me how to play pool over there. I do like this segment. I always want to see wrestlers in these kinds of environments. It's harder to do on the main roster because we're always going from town to town. A lot easier with NXT because they're always in, like, Florida. Okay. So Kiana James wants to buy Fallon Henley's bar. She's offered her another offer and it has been turned down. Bar offer declined. Declined. They're all with her. Hank Walker's in the ring. I think that's it for our Thea Hale part. Super sad. The only man that can defeat Foreman is a towel, said Wrestle with Andy. Maybe that's what they need to do. They need to grab Helen Hart, bring her down, and she can chuck in the towel. Maybe that's how he'll lose. Right, we've got Stax versus Hank Walker. Old Tom Hanks, yeah, you know, hanky panky in the ring right now. Little bit of the old hanky panky. Fake Steph. Sunny, no idea. Not spoke a couple of hours, possibly sleep. James, hope you're well. WrestleVotes states that John Cena will wrestle at WrestleMania 39. Who will his opponent be? I think Austin Theory. Yeah, Austin Theory would be a good shout. I'd love that match. Gunther would be a great shout. I don't mind Gunther Cena. I'd love to see that. And Theory Cena would be good. Time to dig up Helen Hart. What if she's not dead? Did you think about that? What if she's actually Thea Hale in disguise? Did you think about that? Daze, a Thea and R-Truth segment would be hilarious. They would be so good together. She's going to have a bright future. She's too entertaining to not. The only thing that might stop Thea Hale is Kevin Dunn, because Kevin Dunn is awful. And my understanding is he's the reason Billy Kay is not on the main roster anymore. So I hate Kevin Dunn. And if he derails the Thea Hale hype train, I will find him. I will find you. And I will kill you. I'd like to point out that's not a real threat. That was actually a line from the film Taken. But I will kill him. I will kill him. Again, I'm only joking. Right, we are underway with Stacks against Hank Walker. Stacks in control. Why didn't they put Hank Walker with Jensen and Briggs? Why didn't they put Hank Walker? Yeah, he would fit, actually, wouldn't he? That's a really good shout. That's a really good shout. Yeah. David, shout out to you. Daze, Beast like Brock in 2014 or Cowboy Brock? Prefer shortcut or ponytail? It's got to be old school Brock, because to be honest, I don't think the new Brock works without the old Brock. I feel like the old Brock was so serious, and he was do you know what I mean? He was the next big thing. He was the Beast. I sort of feel like this fun ponytail Brock, I don't know that if it works if we hadn't have had the Brock before, the super serious heel Brock that was a problem to everyone and ended the Undertaker streak. Like, I don't think fun Brock could end the Undertaker streak, because you'd have had face against face, and I don't think that would have worked. So I think you needed heel Brock to have face Brock. So I'll go... I love this Brock. I love this Brock. But I don't think, as I say, you get this Brock without that Brock. It's hankering time, Federation Mind. Yes. It's hankering time. That could catch on, you know. Hankering time. Oh, eye poke by Stacks. Roll up by Stacks. 1, 2. 2 count. Goes with a knee to the side of the head. Rolls him over. 1, 2, 3. Done. Stacks wins. Stacks wins with an eye poke. Stacks wins. Eye poke. Pokey poke. I agree, though, that Hanky Panky should definitely be with Briggs and Jensen. Here's Grayson Waller. It's Tom hankering time. Bro. 420, bro. Bianca, the EST. Ronda, the baddest. Rowdy Ronda Rousey, the bloodline. Greatness on a different level. We've got a WWE shop advert. WWE shop, a fanatics experience. Grayson is so annoying, his character works. Do you think that R-Truth is buried? I don't think he's buried. I just think that he is 50. And he is someone that I think they had a little look at to see if he would work in the main event. Like, again, we've spoke about it before. I think it was Capital Punishment that he has a bit of a main event run. It's all right. It didn't really work. I just think that humor is so hard it's really difficult to be funny, like, in wrestling, because wrestling's like super serious, and you can have some fun with it, but we've seen so much bad comedy. A lot of people that get into wrestling, they hit the gym, they work on their physique, they'll obviously work on their in-ring, but comedy is sort of something that you can either do, or I don't want to say you can't learn it, but it's a hard thing to learn. It's a hard thing to learn. I feel like with comedy, you've either got that in your personality or you haven't. And I'm sure you could go away and learn it, but we don't. I can't think of a single wrestler that wasn't funny and became funny. I feel like most wrestlers that were funny were always funny because it's just always part of their personalities. So someone like R-Truth's really special and important and plays a very important role. And I would say we just haven't seen him enough, really. I think they don't quite know what to do with him. I think that he is funny and his delivery is fantastic. But I just think that creatively, they just don't know what to do with him. They just shoved him in the 24/7 story for a long time, didn't they? And in all fairness, he got as much out of that 24/7 title as you could get out of it. I don't know that anyone would have done a better job. I mean, Thea Hale would. But I think he got out as much as he could. So I think, he's not buried because he is not in the main event scene. He's not buried because they played to his strength, which is, the comedy stuff, which he's brilliant at. I think if you was going to say, is he buried? It's probably because they just have not used him enough. He's got these skills and these abilities, but they don't have him on the show that much. There's so much that I think you could do with R-Truth. Way more than what they've done. Honestly, I think they just got lazy. I think that they just got lazy and they just thought, well, we've got this 24/7 belt. We don't know what to do with it, but it's a way of getting R-Truth on the show. And they used it as a way of giving us R-Truth. If there's one thing that I think it did a good job of, it got R-Truth on TV. I suppose in a way it's a bit concerning now that it's gone. How do we get R-Truth onto TV? I hope they've got an answer for that because he's great. He is still great, even at this age. But to be honest, he's got to be getting to the point where he's starting to think about retirement. I mean, he's 50-odd. Do you know what I mean? He's had his career. He's got to be thinking about it. So, to be honest, at this stage, I don't know how much more R-Truth we're going to have. I would imagine his wife would like to spend some time with him. No one's going to miss the 24/7 title. No. Right, it is going to be the Grayson Waller effects. Here he is. 1 to 3 billion people will watch the World Cup this year. Well, hopefully they join our streams. That's all I can say. I'm so excited for them. I actually bought a World Cup guide that breaks down all the teams, talks about all the players, talks about the most used lineups for the teams, and I was having a read of that earlier. I can't really make graphics until the teams have actually been announced, the squads have been announced, but I don't think that's far away. I don't know when that is. James will know. When's that, James? When do the squads get announced? When's the 23 got to be in? Big Von Wagner making his way down. So we've got the Grayson Waller effect. We are done with the first hour. So 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. Big Von Wagner making his way down. World Cup will be the end of an era, says Bilal. It is true. It'll be the end of England not winning. So a big era is going to come to an end. England haven't won anything since 66. So, I mean, there was Le Tournoi, but no one counts that. So, yeah, you're right. End of an era. Retribution would know as well, of course. 23-man squad has got to be in on the 13th of November. It's getting announced Thursday. But but deadline is 13th. It's been announced on Thursday, the 23-man squads. Oh, my God, that's exciting. That's exciting. Nice. Booker T said, I know the Steiners very, very well. And Bron Breakker has got that dog in him. So he's getting in. He's wearing that jacket, which used to belong to his dad. Beware of dog. Nice. Cool. I want to put a comment up on the screen. Carmelo Hayes is stuck in the North American title division, but Von Wagner gets a title shot. Someone having a pop at Von Wagner. How do you feel about that the NXT universe thinks that about you? Joe Blow thinks he's in charge of NXT now. The NXT universe never gave this guy a chance. It's good. I like the fact that they are putting up things that I think people are saying. We have seen it said that Von Wagner doesn't deserve this opportunity. I'm not here to be popular. Well, you're doing a very good job of that, Von. You're doing a very good job. They can moan all they want. At the end of the day, he's here for the title. Von is very comfortable on the mic now, said Robin. Did you appreciate the part about the balls, says Trini. What? Trini made it 12 seconds in and you killed it. Trini killing the balls, apparently, in our chat. Easy99 said, actually, 26 players, not 23. New rules apply because of injuries or COVID-19. I do remember that now you've said it, actually, that there are some extra players. So I'm excited. I didn't realise it was Thursday. I'm excited. Wonder if I'll make it. Wonder if I'll be in the squads. I'm ready to see anyone beat Bron Breakker, said this person. If it's not going to be Von, I can think of someone way more handsome than it could be. But that is for a different day. So Grayson Waller making out he wants a shot. NXT's all about the future. A year ago, that was me. How do you think Bron Breakker has been as champion? The only thing I would say about him is I can't think of like many great Bron Breakker matches. I feel like he is going to be a big deal. And I think when he gets to the main roster, it's going to be like, oh, man, he's here. This is going to be good. I think it's more the idea of Bron than actually Bron. Is that controversial? Can't think of many great matches that Bron's had. Bron on the mic. Bron's boring, said Leo. Nice move, Bron, referencing past champions. Bron is the same age as Dominic. Let that sink in. Oh, God, that's a great shout, Leo. That's a great shout. He's the same age as Dominic. Wow. That's impressive. I didn't know that. That's impressive. Brazil have announced their squad. It is stacked, says Lauren. They've already announced it. God damn. I haven't seen any. But I know they've got incredible players. Braun and Von face to face. Don't do this. So these two squaring off. Oh! Robert Stone gets his head smashed into the desk. Von doesn't blink. Look at Grayson in the background. Grayson's like, yeah. He knows this is ratings. He knows this is ratings. Robert Stone. Down he goes. That was fun, wasn't it? It was a fun segment. Right. Austin Theory, Bron Breakker, Dominic Mysterio are all the same age. Well, listen, one day Bron will get as good as Dominic. It's going to take time, and then he'll get to the main roster. But, I mean, to be the greatest lucha of all time at Dominic's age, that's stunning, isn't it? Stunning. David says, oh, yeah, dig it. Elizabeth. David Walker. Is that a different one? We've got our third David Walker. We're up to 3 different David Walkers now. I don't know which one my favorite is, you know. I don't know which David Walker's my favorite. I do like the Stoke David Walker because that's close. But then the other one's got Macho Man and he's cool. And then you've got like the Bret Hart Winged Eagle, and I love the Winged Eagle. But I might go Stoke just because it's close. God, honestly, so many David Walkers. I'm worried I'm going to start tripping over them when I go to bed. Not that I sleep with David Walkers, but I was going to sleep with someone. Lauren said, can you check out the Brazil squad live on stream? Yeah, we are at commercial break. Brazil World Cup squads. They have got, right, their 26-man squad has been revealed. They have got David Walker in goal. In defense, they've got David Walker. In midfield, David Walker. And up front, David Walker. That's what they've got. They've got lots of David Walkers. Now, they've got Allison and Edison amongst the 2 best goalkeepers in the world. They've got Dani Alves, Danilo, Alex Telles, Marquez, Thiago Silva. I feel like their defense is so-so. I feel like their defense is maybe the vulnerable part because you look at their midfield and you go, well, Bruno, who plays for Newcastle, Casemiro plays for United. I don't know, Ribeiro plays for Flamengo. I mean, he's Brazilian, he's probably good. Fabinho, Freds, Paqueta, is it, for West Ham? Midfield is hella good. But I think there are better midfields. I think there's better midfields. But I do look at that and go, well, that midfield can compete with anyone, right? That is not a weak part of the team at all. At all. But, and it would be in the mix as one of the best, but I think I could probably find a team that's got a better midfield than that. I'm thinking France. But I think they might be without a few players. Obviously, they don't have... I think there's no N'Golo Kante. I don't think they've got Pogba. Obviously, Tchouaméni, they've got as an option. I mean, this it's very good. But for me, it's up front. Up front is just disgusting. Their attack is maybe the best attack. Again, France, though, they've got Mbappe. They've got Benzema. Griezmann, I don't know if he'll go. He's not having a great season. But they've got Anthony, Jesus, Martinelli, Neymar, Pedro, Rafinha, Richarlison, Rodrigo, and Vinicius Jr. I mean, whoever they bench could be better than 99% of what other teams have got. They're a problem, aren't they, eh? They're a problem. But I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Brazil are going to win. I think the defense you could get at, and I mean, the midfield's good. It's really good. And the attack might be the best attack in the World Cup. They might have the best goalkeepers. They might have the best goalkeepers, the best attack, one of the best midfields. And so you're really clutching at straws, to be honest, as to how you get past Brazil. I think England would get battered by Brazil. I think England, if I'm being honest, I think if England are going to win the World Cup, and we all know they are, then I think they're going to need another team to deal with Brazil for them. I think Brazil are going to have to draw and get knocked out on penalties to someone for England to stand a chance. But it could happen. We could see a team park the bus against Brazil, keep them out, take it to penalties. But then saying that, even if it goes to penalties, did you just hear the names? Even if it goes to penalties, I mean, like, how are Brazil losing penalties? They've got brilliant defense. They've got fantastic attackers. There's no point watching. I don't even know why we're watching the World Cup. It's done. It's done. It's done. Right, we are back to NXT, by the way. At least we got Harry Maguire. That's a really good point. It's a really good point. Nick said, I wonder how Australia will do. Without being unfair, I think they will have done well to get out of the group. I think if Australia can get out of their group, I think they will have done. I think they'll be over the moon. I don't know who they're in with. I can't remember what group they're in with, but they're not going to be one of the big teams in that group. I caught the North Korean episode of Dark Side of the Ring. Have you, says Larry? Don't think so. I've seen lots on that show, though. Did Wrestle with Andy do an episode on that? I've got a feeling Wrestle with Andy did an episode on it that was really good. I know there was one that was like an animated episode that's been on YouTube for years and years and years. I remember watching that thinking, damn, that's awesome. They did a fantastic job. But I don't think I've seen the Dark Side one on it, you know. But I do know a fair bit about Collision in Korea. I read loads about it because it is the biggest shows to ever take place, wrestling shows. So I know loads about it, but I've never seen the Dark Side episode. Okay, what we got now? Here's Apollo. Apollo! He's in Nigeria, I believe, in Africa. I'm helping WWE for their search with the next top superstar. We're just seeing Zoe Starks, Nikita Lyons. Look into these eyes, Bron Breakker. Okay, here we go. We have got, is this JD Manamana? I think we've got JD Manamana making his way down. Nick said, can you be my daddy? I can. I just wouldn't be very good. I'm not very good at, like, changing kids. So if you need your diaper changing or anything, I'd be a bit... if you choose Messi or Ronaldo, who are the better squad between the two? Who would win it? Argentina, I think, are the better squads. I think they're the better squad than Portugal. Portugal have still got a nice little team, though. And they're still definitely in the mix. The thing is, with some of these teams, they've got the players on paper, like France, on paper, got one of the best squads in the world. But then when you actually watch them play, they just don't quite put it together. It's really interesting how I'm sure the same can be true with American NFL football. I'm sure you've got a load of like amazing teams that on paper just look stunning, but they don't win the Super Bowl because they just can't quite get it to click. They can't like maximize their strengths. So I feel like that's, Portugal. It's certainly Belgium. But this isn't a World Cup stream, guys. This isn't a World Cup stream. We are going to be doing them, and I'm very excited for them. And I worked out that out of 64 games, we're going to be doing about 43 or 44. And the 20 that we're not doing are things like South Korea against Liberia or something. Do you know what I mean? Like the kind of matches that, I got to be honest, I don't think people are that bothered by anyway. So those are the kinds of ones we're missing. But like all the big matches we're pretty much hitting. I think there's one match which is like maybe the first Argentina match that I'm not able to do. Other than that, we're hitting all the big games. Can't wait, man. Looking forward to it. But anyway, that's then. This is now, and it is JD against Axiom. Against the ropes goes JD. Shoulder tackle. Nice takeover. Fast pace already. This pace definitely works in Axiom's favor. That episode had Ali, Inoki, Ric Flair, Scott Norton, Hawk, Too Cold Scorpio, and others. Stacked. 1 month World Cup. Can't wait to watch. It's a 4-year tournament. Jim said, I'm a huge South Korea fan. Oh, don't say that, Jim. Don't say that. Oh, I'm going to feel guilty now. I just wasn't able to work it into the schedule. It's nothing personal, Jim. Nice kick there by JD. John said, someone tell me the point of football, as when I ask, no one ever answers. What's the point of football? It's a sport that is for the World Cup based on nationality. So it is really patriotic. You want your team to do well. The whole country gets behind. The country sort of unites and gets behind the team. Like, honestly, some of the best memories I've got of this country being united and being at its best is when the football's on. And people are, like, all gathered in fan parks, all cheering for the team. You can go into, like, pubs that are rammed. I mean, it's just everyone is watching. Everyone is watching. I think there's about 60-odd million that live in this country. And 20-something million watched England in the Euros final. The only thing you have to remember is a lot of people went to pubs. So a lot of pubs had, 100 people in the room or whatever. So they said it was 20-odd million, but I think you can easily double that. Easily double it for the number of people that are actually watching. And then, of course, you've got people that just aren't into football. And people in nursing homes, and people along that kids maybe that aren't into football, whatever. So, there'll be a percentage, but it's probably the biggest thing that happens in this country. I could probably only compare it to, like, if your state got to the Super Bowl final. I would imagine everyone in the state would be watching. So, if New England Patriots get to the Super Bowl final, I would imagine New England, everyone's watching the Super Bowl. And, we know that everyone watches the Super Bowl anyway, but I would imagine especially in New England, they would tune in. Or if it was Dallas Cowboys, everyone in Dallas would be watching. And everyone in Texas, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Does everyone in Texas get behind the Dallas Cowboys? Is there other teams in Texas? I don't know. Either way, everyone gets behind England. Well, as long as they're English, of course. There's plenty of people that live here from other countries, and they support those countries, and that's fine. Of course, it's fine. But I love it. It's brilliant. I've said many times, if there's one thing for me to stream that I would stream. So, you could have WrestleMania. You could have Joshua against Tyson Fury. You could have like big boxing, big wrestling, big UFC. If England were in the World Cup final, that is what I would watch. That's the ultimate. England in the World Cup final, I can't think of anything I would watch over that. I cannot think of a single thing I would watch. Maybe if Thea Hale was wrestling, that I might then choose that instead. But to be honest, part of me would be like, am I making the right decision? That's what I'd be thinking. I would be questioning if I was making the right decision. And when do I question anything to do with Thea Hale? I don't, do I? Albert Walker, shout out to you. Albert Walker. Oh, Albert, you're so close. You're so close, Albert. Is there no way you can change your name to David? I mean, I don't want to be rude, but it's very close, Albert. Part of me feels like you're being a bit disrespectful to the community by not being called David Walker. I don't know. I'll leave it with you. If you fancy changing your name, just go for it. That's all I'm going to say. I watched a great match earlier. LG Clearly. LG Clearly? I don't know who that is. Versus Matt Cardona on an indie show. LG Clearly won by a lion tamer. He's 23 from Ireland. He's got a bright future. Okay. LG Clearly. I can see clearly now that he has won. LG Clearly. I'm from Canada and hockey's a big deal. Everyone watches that here, says Nick. Just like that then, Nick. Just like that. If that's the big sport, and it is, isn't it? So if Canada are playing ice hockey, I feel like that's comparable to England playing soccer/football. Daze, I'm David Walker's stepfather, says Albert Walker. Yeah. I mean, I understand that you're like potentially related to a David Walker, and you definitely do get props for that, but you're not a David Walker, so I'm a bit conflicted, to be honest. I'm trying to collect David Walkers, and Albert Walker just doesn't really help me. And if anything, it annoys me that we've got close, but it's not a David Walker, so I don't know. Axiom with a Inzaguri. Was it true wrestling was the biggest sport back in the 1980s? Don't think so. Don't think wrestling was the biggest sport. I don't know. I mean, like, how do you measure the biggest sport? I don't know how you measure that. But I certainly don't think that wrestling was the biggest sport. I can't say that wrestling was big. On a worldwide level, I don't think it wasn't bigger than soccer. It wasn't bigger than football. But how do you measure it? How do you measure it? I saw there was a stat that showed the number of people that watched, was it WrestleMania around the world or something? And it just, I can't remember. Was it like how many people watch wrestling and then how many people watch NFL? And like wrestling was like crazy number, like in the billions, because it's shown around the world. And NFL is really America focused. It's like America and then, you know, a few other little bits around the world, but it's really intense in America. And then around the world, it's, you know, a passing interest. Whereas like soccer is played everywhere and everyone watches it. And as someone just pointed out, like the World Cup will be watched by 1 to 3 billion people. So I don't know how you measure it, to be honest. But I mean, it wasn't bigger than the NFL in America. And it wouldn't have been bigger than soccer around the world. So I can't really see on what parameter it would be bigger, the biggest sport. Can you announce it's official International David Walker Day? Yeah, totally. International David Walker Day here on the channel, where David Walkers unite to celebrate Thea Hale. Right, we've got JD with a chop block. Down goes Axiom. I know we've not been really calling the action too much. I sort of feel like a lot of these matches have just been there. Maybe that's unfair. But I feel things like, Stacks against Hank Walker. This one's a bit more interesting, though. JD has been presented as a fairly big star. He's been around the main event scene. Axiom still to get there. But he's definitely causing some problems for JD right now. Axiom. Against the ropes goes Axiom. Axiom goes down. He's got a single leg. Axiom kicking at JD. Axiom turned over. Look at that Boston Crab. Boston Crab cinched in. Axiom trying to get over to the ropes. Oh, he reaches and he couldn't quite make it. Axiom trying to get over to the ropes. JD in the middle of the ring on his knees. Ringside Report said WWE is extremely high on Grayson Waller, and they said there might be a possibility that he goes up to the main roster just like Kevin Owens was. He's a good talker. Is he the best talker in NXT? He might be. I can see that. I can see why they would be extremely high on him. Axiom. Kip up. Lands on his feet. Headbutt. Goes down. Headbutt from JD. Daze, would you watch England World Cup final or Roman losing a title? It'd be England. Roman losing the title would be a massive deal. But if moonsault gets caught. We see this spot a lot, See that spot all the time where there's a moonsault and they land and then get caught in like a submission hold. And that's exactly what he's landed in here. Axiom with a triangle. JD trying to reverse. Picks up. Axiom. Oh, reversed by Axiom. 1, 2. Shoulder up. Good little match this. Best match so far tonight. Big kick by Axiom. Big kick. 1, 2. Soccer kick by Axiom. So in regards to Roman, I would watch the World Cup because the thing is, everyone would be watching and there would be no way of me avoiding the spoiler. And if England win the World Cup, I want to be out celebrating. I want to be out with everyone. Everyone would be in the streets. It would be like we've just never seen before. It would be just people losing their minds, celebrating. You could go to any pub and, Sweet Caroline would be playing and people would be dancing away. And honestly, if you got chance to come to England on the night England win the World Cup or win a major tournament in football, I could only compare it to Canada winning ice hockey World Cup or whatever. Ugh. Referee telling him to break. Axiom in a lot of pain. Referee is telling Axiom is in a lot of pain, grabbing a hold of his leg. So referee told him to break the holds. Oh. So he's... Yeah, I mean, he really put that on. Booker T said he heard the leg pop. He really put, he had like a crossface on and he really bent the leg. Referee stopped it. He took so long to call the match. Can I just say that doesn't make any sense? So JD had a submission hold on and he had the leg really bent over. The referee told him to break the hold because he was concerned for Axiom. And it was only when the medics said that there is some damage done, that's when he calls the match. Could you imagine if he let the match continue? Why would you tell a wrestler to release a hold and then potentially continue the match? The second he told JD to break that hold, the match should have been ended. Don't know what the ref was doing there. Why did he hesitate in ending the match? Either way, JD gets the win. Ilya Dragunov still in hospital 3 weeks later. Nasty looking hold that was, you know. Someone get on my level, says JD Manamana. Looking at you, Apollo. I'm looking at you, Apollo. Ref's on the payroll. Is it a work or is he injured? I mean, I think it's a work. I mean, if it is a shoot, then maybe I can understand the referee kind of going a bit rogue. I'm looking at it from a competitive point of view. The referee told JD to break that hold. I mean, it's a legal hold. He's not doing anything illegal. It's just brutal. And Axiom is in a lot of pain. So the referee has told him to break the hold. And so at that point, referee stoppage, surely. That's it. Ref's called it. That's horrific. You're in too much pain. I'm not going to allow this to continue. You're done. Ref stoppage. But then there was a pause. He seemed to ask the doctors, like, how's his leg? Doctors were like, no, he's done. And he was like, right, ring the bell. That's it. It's over. I didn't see. Did we get the old cross? I didn't see. Feels to me like a work. But then saying that, I thought that Natalya was a work. You know, when Shayna went boom, and there was like, we cut away, and when we went back, blood pouring down the face of Natalya. I thought she'd got a capsule and like wiped it on her nose, and that's where the blood was coming from. I didn't think that Shayna had actually connected because there was so much blood. I was like, nah, I mean, she's either really messed her up or that's a capsule. And I think the fact that they ended the match and then they, you know, set up that moment, like clearly that moment was meant to happen with Natalya on her knees and Shayna, bang. So I was like, well, they've set that moment up. It's a moment that's not been unexpected. They've clearly said, let's do the match and afterwards I'm going to knee you in the face. We've cut away. When we've gone back, loads of blood. Felt to me like we've done that on purpose, yeah? But then, I don't know if you saw the picture of Natalya in hospital with her nose all bandaged up, saying that her nose has been realigned and all this kind of stuff. So, turns out that that was legit from Shayna. Shayna really did connect with Natalya and really did, like, bust her nose to the point where she had to go and get it sorted and surgery and everything. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was legit. Natalya nosebleed was real. Yeah. I know. Yeah. The Natalia nosebleed, I honestly thought was planned. I thought it was planned because of how the whole thing had been set up. As I said, they did the match. Match ended. Ronda and Shayna seem as if they're going to walk away, and then Shayna actually turns around and comes back, and Natalia just happens to be on her knees in the middle of the ring, facing Shayna. What are the odds? And basically Shayna goes over and bang, cracks her in the face. Turns out that it didn't quite go to plan, because there is Natalia, picture of Natalia. This was a couple of days ago. And you can see here, we've moved my dislocated nose back to the center of my face where it belongs. I love the shape of my nose, and it will stay the same. Thank goodness. I can finally breathe again. Pain is beauty. Let's effing go. So, yeah. Either they've gone the extra mile to set this picture up, which I don't think they have. I think this is legit. But I look at her eyes look all brute. Like, I think her nose was like proper pushed back into her face. I mean, it seems like her eyes have actually got some swelling as well, you know. It looks awful now, doesn't it? Looks awful. Her eyes look swollen and even like black to a degree. Like, the nose being pushed back like has resulted in her eyes and everything. Like, just awful. Awful. So, yeah, I must admit, I did not call that one right. I did not call that one right at all. I thought it was a capsule. David Walker, the Stoke one. Dare I say my favourite one? I'm going to say it, my favourite one. Oh, I've said it, my favourite one. David Walker, shout out to you. Stoke Walker on National David Walker Day. Jim said, I don't think it was as planned. Oh, no. It wasn't as planned. Next week, we're going to get a statement from Shawn Michaels. Yeah, they definitely didn't say we're going to knee you in the face and send you to hospital. But clearly, I think that there was going to be that moment, you know, after the match. Right, so there's going to be a statement from Shawn. Don't worry, she is familiar with plastic surgery. That's true. Right, Brutus versus Damon Kemp. There's what I like about this is there's a little countdown clock. Brutus versus Damon Kemp. Damon Kemp down. Brutus jumps out the ring. Grabs Damon Kemp. Hurls him into the ring steps. Oof. Damon Kemp grabbing a hold of his knee. Well, not even a minute in. Brutus is having a great time. I really like Brutus's ring gear. It's very Giant Gonzalez. Like, it's a singlet that's got muscles painted on. The singlet is brown, grey though, not brown, like not flesh coloured like Giant Gonzalez's was. Ivy Nile is very pleased with what she's seeing at the moment. I told you it was real blood, said Daniel. Yeah, a few people did say at the time. I just thought that there was so much, and that segment was so set up that I was like, nah, I think they've planned that. Turns out Shayna Baszler's gone flipping a bit too aggressive. And yeah, you're right. It was legit. Carmen Live said, did you watch and enjoy Crown Jewel? Yeah, thought it was good. I think, what did we give it? 7.5, I think it scored. I'm trying to think back to the review. But, yep, it was good. Thought it did a good job. I've broken my nose numerous times. It goes, you do get black eyes and swelling, says Alex. Yeah, I can believe it. I kind of It's all kind of around this area. I want to say connected. I actually don't think it is connected, but it might be connected. I know on a skull, when you see a skull, you've got like an empty place where the nose would be. So I don't quite know how it connects, but yeah, horrible. There is something about like you can push the nose into your brain or something, can't you? Chair by Brutus. Brutus using a chair. Referee disqualifies him. Brutus decides that walloping Damon Kemp with a chair is way more important than just beating him. One more time. One more time. One more time. I'll always be a better man than you, said Brutus. I will always be a better man than you. With MJF go Hollywood, who do you think will go Hollywood one day? Roman? Roman will go Hollywood. One more time. One more time. Boom! Maybe Sasha? She's already gone into acting. I don't think she's done Hollywood yet, but you could see that. I'm sure there's opportunity for her. All right, look at the smile on Ivy Niles' face. She loves it. Boom! Just showing a replay of these chair shots. We got 17 minutes, but don't forget, guys. Don't forget. There is an overrun. Why do you lot always forget the overrun? There is an overrun. Daze, what was your favourite match from Crown Jewel? Mine was Roman Logan. Logan did a good job, said Carmen Live. I genuinely would go... Oh. Sanga and Via watching Diamond Mine. I would say Bianca and Bailey. I thought that it was just madness. Madness, but very, very fun. I think what hurt the Roman Logan match for me, a couple of things. I never thought that Logan should have been in that position. So it was always going to be hard, really, for me, I think, to get lost in the match, if you will. It didn't really have like a very good heel face dynamic because, I mean, not a single part of my body wanted Logan to win. In a way, Roman was the face for me personally. Roman was the wrestler. Logan was the undeserving challenger, was the way that I viewed it. And so I was very much Team Roman, which I don't think is what WWE were trying for. The dynamic of it was affected. Not Logan's fault, but that played a bit of a factor. And then again, you know, I didn't think. Not only did I not want him to win the belts, but I didn't think Logan was winning. I thought that they got out. Logan did a great job. This isn't a knock of Logan. He did a great job. It was a great main event, but I think for those reasons, I can't say it was my favorite match. I never really felt like the title was going to Logan. There were some close calls, but I always felt confident that Roman would get up at 2.9. So I never thought they would do it. I never thought they'd put the belt on Logan. I suppose part of you does go, what if they do? So I can't say I was 100%, but I was as close, I think, I'll ever be to being like, yeah, they won't go with Logan. And then, as I said, I think the dynamic was not quite right as well. But putting all of that kind of outside stuff out of the way and looking at just the actual match, Logan did as good a job, I think, as he could have done. I think he did as good as he could have done. So nothing but respect. He delivered again. No denying. I think you've really got to be a Logan hater to not acknowledge that he did a very, very good job. Very, very good job. So, yeah, definitely one of the best matches of the night. Definitely. And I can understand why people have chosen that. For me, I had more fun with Bayley and Bianca. I genuinely didn't know which way that one was going. I thought certainly what with Damage Control winning the women's tag titles back earlier, I thought that they could be tempted to put the belt on Bayley so that Damage Control have all the belts. I thought Bianca would win. I think she was my prediction. But the Damage Control result actually made me think, wow, maybe they will go with Bayley. Maybe Bayley could win the championship now. And we get like the Bloodline, the Bloodline have got all the belts. Maybe they'll put all the belts on Damage Control. And I just love some of those spots, man. I love when Bayley slips off the edge of the ramp. She really sells that knee. I have totally bought that she was injured. And then she launches herself at Bianca. Golf cart was silly. All right. That was silly. But there was some good stuff. There was a stair spot where I think did Bianca go into the stairs? And then I think Bayley kicks the steps and the steps like shoot back. I thought that was cool. I thought the ending was brilliant as well. I actually saw a couple of people criticize the ending. I don't get it. I thought it was brilliant. Bianca putting Bayley in between the ladder and then pushing the ladder under the bottom turnbuckle, under the bottom rope, so Bayley couldn't get out. I thought it was brilliant. No outside interference as well. They just both went at it. I suppose in a way I was surprised at no outside interference. Not a perfect match. I think that there was definitely a few bits I would change, like Bayley trying to run over Bianca with the world's slowest vehicle was a bit weird. Thankfully, it didn't work for her. Bianca didn't. It would have been awful if Bianca had stood there going no and just waited for the cart to run her over. That would have been awful. Thankfully, she didn't do that. She did get out of the way. But even so, I think that spot, I see what they were trying for, but it didn't quite work. Didn't quite work. So not a perfect match. I saw a few people saying it was like one of the best women's matches of the year. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. It's not the best, but I think it's one of the best. I had so much fun with it. It's just a fun match to watch, man. I thought that was really enjoyable. Then we got the Bray segment, which I definitely wanted more from it. I did want more from the Bray segment. But it was nice to have a Bray segment. And then we got Roman Logan. And as I said, that is absolutely in contention for match of the night as well. I totally understand why people have that as their match of the night. So a really good end to Crown Jewel. Really good end. It's very good. Very, very good. I think we scored it 7.75. Here's Roxanne Perez. We're just back from commercial break. Roxanne Perez and Indy Hartwell. Who's in the background? Who's that? Don't know if she's important or not. There's some girl in the background. There's no friends in this business, says Indy. Conversation proves it. Oh, cool. Roxanne looks sad now. David Walker. Stoke David Walker. The best of all the David Walkers. David Walker appreciates the... damn, wow, you fired in a few of these super chats, dude. Walkers have took over our whole thing at the top. Albert, David. It's just been a crazy night. Crazy night. You should put a comment, David Walker, Stoke David Walker. I'd love to know how you feel about Macho Man David Walker and Bret Hart David Walker. Apparently, one of the David Walkers was claiming that he's you. Let me know if that's true. Not with the super chats. Right, main event time. Lady belts. Lady belts. Also, the part where Bayley used Bianca in the steps was whack-a-mole with the cat. That was fun, wasn't it? Yeah, that was good. Good shout, yeah. So I like the bit where she kicked the steps. The steps went shooting back. I was like, damn, that was cool. Bianca then goes down. Bailey's got the kendo. She's like, ah. I wish she'd have done it a bit more. It would have been great if every time she pops up, she's right there. I thought she quite quickly changed to going after the midsection. I would have liked a little bit more of the whack-a-mole stuff. Because I thought that was really good, yeah. I thought it was really good. Tag Team Championships. Kaden and Katana versus Zoe and Nikita. Is this the new Walker order, says Travis? And Bo. Yeah, new Walker order, well done. Well done. David Walker does want to talk Macho Man, and what happened as he snapped onto his Slim Jim. Snap into a Slim Jim. Whoop, whoop. Oh, we've only got about, 16 minutes to go? Whoop, whoop. Right, Katana Chance locking up with Zoe Starks. Katana Chance trying to reach over. Here's Nikita Lyons. Nikita. I've enjoyed Nikita so much more since she's been in this team with Zoe. Going over, tag, in comes Zoe. Zoe up, double axe handle. Comes down. Zoe working on the arm of Katana. Katana jumps back, smile on her face. Nice headlock, gets back up on her feet. Over in the corner. Zoe charges over. Katana moves out the way. Up, dumped on the outside. Kaden helps her back. Shoots her over, but Zoe lands on her feet. Smile on the face of Zoe. Katana charges over. Head scissors round the houses. Oh, that was nice. That was nice. Tag. In comes Kaden Carter. She takes down Zoe Stark. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. Katana Chance seemed to do some sort of somersault over Zoe Stark. I don't know what that offense was. I'll have to have a look at a replay of it. I don't think it went to plan, to be honest. Dropkick. Beautiful dropkick there by Zoe. Lovely height and lovely snap. I want to see this again. She goes over in the corner, goes over. I think what she tried to do is go flip over and then try and come down with her knees. Thing was that her knees were just a little bit too far out. So she kind of got just the tip of her knee. It didn't at first glance look like she got anything. But on the replay, you can see she got the tip of her kneecap. Did make contact. Not the most impactful offense in the world. That's what I would say. David said, who is the excellence of execution? It is Thea Hale! Yay! Chase you, chase you, chase you, chase you, chase you, chase you. The excellence of execution, Thea Hale. Over the top rope. The Brahma Bull! Thea Hale! Down, goes up, drop kick by Kaden. Zoe goes to the outside. Nikita on the outsides. I died laughing when Mike and George got super kicked during the Logan match, says Dominic. Katana Chance actually performed in American Ninja Warrior. That's why she can do such amazing moves in the ring. Philip said, why don't you stream review shows anymore? Well, we do have review shows over on the second channel. The thing is that since Bray arrived, he tends to be in the final part of the show. Normally Bray will be in the main event. And so we've seen that recently on SmackDown with Bray in the main event. And so what that means is I need to do a video about it because
there's so many talking points, and people immediately in the chat send their thoughts. People on Twitter send their thoughts. Obviously, something can happen. Like, when we got to see all of Uncle Howdy's face, that was a big development. QR codes, we've had QR codes back, so we've had to be looking into those. The thing is that trying to cover the Bray news and then still make it to a stream that's set up for, like, I don't know, half an hour after the show ends. I kept letting you guys down. I think, many of you will have been on those streams waiting for them to start, and I just was not ready because I was still finishing off, like, a Bray video, or, I wasn't just sat here eating pumpkin pie. I was, doing other things, other videos, and I was like, no, we're not doing this. We're not going to set up streams that we're not going to, be able to get there for. So I had to make a call of just not doing them live. I don't know if that's a long-term thing. I much prefer doing them live because I think there's people that join us for those reviews that don't join us for the watch-alongs. And it's the only time I get to interact with those people. Live, because they don't get a chance to, they're out or they want to watch the show on their own, which I totally understand. So yeah, I wish I could do them live, to be honest. And I was thinking, like, well, Bray's only on SmackDown, so there's not really any reason why we can't still do them live for Raw and NXT, but I just worry that's a bit of a mixed message. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, we're live for Raw, we're live for NXT, but we're not live for SmackDown. I feel like whatever you do with one, you probably should do with all of them. Otherwise, it's just a bit confusing. Like, oh yeah, SmackDown is not live for that one. That's a recorded one, but he is live for Raw. Oh. I just think if you're going to do... It's like, with our streams, we start at 12 every day, which is, 7 Eastern time? Like, we do that every day. It doesn't matter if it's NXT, it doesn't matter if it's SmackDown, it doesn't matter if it's AEW, it doesn't matter if it's Raw. We start at the same time for all of the streams. That way you haven't got to think, have you? It's like you just know wherever you are in the world what time we start. We start an hour before. So I like that uniformity. And I don't have that with the review shows at the moment. So that's why I wish I could get them back to being live. I preferred them live. But... can't figure out how to make them work unless I do them like an hour after for all of them and do them live. I think if I had an hour, that should be more than enough time. An hour. But who wants to join a review an hour after a show? Do you know what I mean? I am fully aware there's about 1 billion channels that do review shows that are live like 5 minutes after the show ends. So why would people want to join one an hour after? It's just a bit of a problem at the moment. I'll tell you what's not a problem, though, and that is watching this match. That is not a problem. We have got Caden on the outside. We have got both Nikita and Zoe. We could get new lady champs tonight. We really could. Coach Co said a young child can fit through the veins of a blue whale's heart due to its enormous size. You could fit an adult through its arteries.
Wow.
Planted. Nice double teamwork by Caden and Katana. Shoulder up. Shoulder up by Zoe. Unbroken said, Chronic Effect is officially on repeat. Throw some cold water on him. What, has he put that in a few times? I don't know what's up with him. I actually think Coach Co is a bot, like some kind of software. I think it's got a glitch. Because there's been a few facts we found out aren't facts, and now you're telling me a few facts are getting repeated. It's like, that night bot. I think that's what Koji Co is. Koji bot. That sounds like the greatest character from an anime that's yet to be made. Hi, I'm Koji Bot. Koji Bot, gotta catch them all. Right, we've got Katana Just got thrown by Nikita. I don't think there was any grace to that. Oof. Chucked again. She's getting chucked around, man. I feel so sorry for this girl. She just gets thrown around. She's down on the ground. Kicked to the back by Zoe, who rolls her over. 1, 2. Oh, God, shoulder up. Just Nikita dealing with Kaden. Forearm strike on the outside. Drop kick on the outside by Kaden. Nikita goes down. Zoe's going up top. Katana is still down. Is she going to move out the way? Yes. Zoe misses. Goes over to the other side. Katana up. Jumps straight over. Lands on the middle rope. Grabs Zoe. Looks for a suplex. Reversed. Oh, stunner. Beautiful work. 1, 2. And Nikita makes the save. The match continues. It's a banger again. These 4. It's like watching the Revival take on DIY. It's a banger. It is really good. Women should have their own weekly show, said Hawkins Jr. It could be interesting, and they would have enough content to put out some storylines. NXT. Nikita trying to get up. Zoe, I'd love a all-women's show. I think that'd be great. Forearm strike, charging up. Whoa, Zoe nearly hit Nikita. Don't apologize, Zoe. Don't apologize. Oh, double super kicks. Nikita took the bullet. Down goes Kaden. Down goes Katana. Katana in the middle. Zoe picks her up. She lands on her feet, though. Nikita on the outside. Round the houses. DDT. Zoe is down. Women's tag champs looking like they might be about to finish off. Oh, Zoe. Zoe goes down. Kaden with the cover. 1, 2, 3. And the champs retain. And still NXT Women's Tag Team Champions Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. Got it done. What's Zoe going to do now, man? She's going to snap, and it's not Nikita's fault. Nikita took the bullet, man. She took the bullet. Look, she moves Zoe out the way. Double super kick by Katana and Kaden. That meant that Nikita was down on the outside. Zoe Stark was on her own. Is Nikita going to turn on Zoe? Zoe's been very agitated. Look at that dude, man. He's a big fan. Zoe grabs the belts. They want to hand them over, I think. Respect. Nikita says respect. Nikita hands it to Katana. Zoe tries to hand it to Kaden. She can't quite let go. Oh, she wallops her. Zoe wallops Nikita. It's Nikita. It's a heel turn. You've ruined everything. It is her fault. It is her fault. Make her humble. Make her humble, Zoe. Make her humble. It is her fault. She throws the belt outside the ring. You've ruined everything. She absolutely walloped her in the face with that championship. Boom! Yes! Yes! You've ruined everything. Boom! Knee to the side of the head. Nikita down. Make her humble, Zoe. Make her humble. She did. If she hadn't have moved Zoe out the way and been super kicked and knocked to the outside, then Zoe wouldn't have been on her own. And it's Nikita's fault. Make a humble. I'm glad it's Zoe. Nikita's gonna block her number. No. Oh God, I'm not ready for that segment next week where she gets her phone. It's gonna be hard to watch. We're gonna need a big Thea Hale segment straight after that. Zoe is angry. She is angry. Damn it. Austin ran off. I love too hard. Austin's here.
And his name is
Jeff. His name is Jeff. I don't know if his name is Jeff, by the way. Look at that. I'd be devastated if Nikita blocked me, says Jim. I'd be devastated if anyone blocked me. Don't you even think about it, community. Don't you even think about it. Twisted Sky said, damn, that was a quality finish. It was good, wasn't it? That was fun. You just sensed that something was happening, but because Nikita had to save Zoe, it did make me think, oh, is Nikita turning on Zoe? But Zoe has been very agitated recently. You know, she's shown the signs. So, yeah, I didn't know, guys. I didn't know. But then she smacked her in the face with the belt. Oh. I give NXT an 8 tonight, says Carmen Live 2. Dominic said, who do you think wins the Rumble? I think it's going to be Thea Hale. Thea Hale wins the Rumble. Yes. So much potential for Austin Theory. Oh, don't start us on that road again, Austin. We've already been down that road. Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Thanks, buds. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Hope you're all right. I think David Walker, Robbo calls me 5 times a day, says Unbroken. UFC this weekend? Yeah, looking forward to it, Tim. Yep, all over UFC this weekend. Zoe is going to give Nikita a bad Yelp review. Walloped her in the face. Nikita, oh, God. Went down, bang, knee to the side of the head. Oh, God. Fantastic. Thea Hale is going to beat Roman. Yes! Theory cash-in was so bad, says Bilal. Don't, Bilal. We've already been down that road, buds. Don't set us off. Easy99 said, I remember Katana Chance doing hanging and hug the ring post. Oh, yeah, when she used to climb up. Like a crazy monkey in a zoo. Yeah, she did that during, she used to walk up the ring post. She did it in a Rumble. Do you remember she was in a Rumble, years ago? Years and years ago. Easy99 said Nikita will do the splits on Zoe. It's the most devastating move in all of wrestling. Nikita doing the splits. Woo! Devastating. Sonny said, are you doing UFC? Yes. I got 28th on Tapology. That's rubbish. And the other Saturday, I was 6th. I only acknowledged top 5. I'm beginning to stay on the leaderboards. Well, listen, all I can say is get better because those numbers are pretty embarrassing, to be honest. I don't want to embarrass you in front of everyone here, but 28th. There's only 20 people that play the game. He was on Raw. Just saw highlights of Roman Paul. They love making celebrities look like real athletes. They do love that. It is their favorite thing. Leo said Kaden and Katana should come dressed up as Mortal Kombat outfits. I feel like they have, you know. I feel like that's something they have done. Could be wrong, but they have definitely dressed up as characters. Maybe they... I'd have to have a look. Maybe they dressed as Street Fighter or something. Part of me thinks they have dressed as Mortal Kombat. Don't know. Thea Hale wins the Women's Rumble from the number 1 spot. Yes. Who do you think is going to win out of the Usos or the New Day? I am leaning towards the Usos. I'll go Usos. I don't think... New Day are pretty cold, aren't they? I mean, I don't think the New Day have really been built up that much or have got much going on. So I think that they're probably doing this match because of the record. And I think the Bloodline, maybe Solo will get involved, maybe Sammy will get involved. But what if Sammy costs them? Ooh. If Sammy tries to help and ends up costing the Usos their titles? I never thought about that. I'll still say Usos, but I'm very excited. Would you be willing to wear a Chase University sweater if you have to be with Thea? Well, again, I do want to make this clear because she is 19 and I am not. I don't simp Thea Hale, but I really enjoy watching her on NXT and I am a fan. I am a fully fledged sign me up to her fan club level fan of Thea Hale. Would I wear a Chase U shirt in support of her? The only problem is, it's not really supporting her, is it? Like, if there was a Thea Hale t-shirt, wouldn't even think twice, mate. Wouldn't even think twice. I'd already be wearing it. I'd have the number 1 printing of it. You know, like how Austin's got the number 1 printing of XY Zion Quinn's shirts. I would have the number 1 printing of Thea Hale. So, yeah, I would wear that. Would I wear a Chase U one? I suppose if no Thea Hale merch comes out, then that's the closest I could get. Why don't they sell Thea Hale megaphones? Hello, Chase U. Go on, Mr. Chase. Like, why don't they sell that? I'd buy that. Does it say Thea Hale on anywhere? It probably just says Chase U, doesn't it? It's probably just another Chase U thing. I think she's the only one that has it, though. I don't know. What's their problem? What's wrong with WWE? They've got a megastar the size of Stone Cold, and they're not even releasing any merch for her. Appalling. Thea Hale beats the Usos and the New Day to take the titles. Would you wave a flag with Thea Hale's face on? Yeah. I think it's embarrassing you think I haven't already made that flag. Like, I've made the flag, I just forgot to bring it. Get in touch with WWE merch. I'm sure they would give it the old college try. I could send them some designs. We could run that as a competition, send in your designs for Thea Hale merch, and then we'll ping it over. We could do that. We could send designs to WWE shop and tag her in it. She needs merch. And I don't think anyone is having that conversation. We could lead that conversation. We should lead that conversation. Something to think about for next week. Austin said, I don't think XY Zion Quinn has got some merch yet. It's so rude. It is rude, but we do need to get to Thea Hale first. You know, priorities. Adam said, Natalia actually got a busted nose. Yeah, we spoke about it. Moody, innit? Moody. We looked at it. In fact, is it still on? Yeah, I've still got it. Hang on. Let's... what's this comment? It says, Adam said, Natalia actually got a busted nose. Oh, yeah. Well, funny you should say that, Adam. If I press this button, I mean, look at this for speed. I just quickly brought it up, and you can see that she puts a message out saying that they moved it back on. She's given a peace sign there. She says, we moved my dislocated nose back to the center of my face where it belongs. I love the shape of my nose, and it will stay the same, thank goodness. I can finally breathe again. Pain is beauty. LFG. Thea Hale is the best. So that's a lovely message there from Natalia, who has got blood on those sheets, and those sheets are now going to need to be washed. And why? Look at her hands as well. It's under her nails. It's on her fingers. God, what the hell was she doing? Why haven't they cleaned her up? Look at all this blood everywhere. Looks like she's bruised her fingernail. Guys, that's the worst injury you can have. If you bruise your fingernail, oh God, that's bad. That is so painful. It's rare to bruise your fingernail, but that is exactly what Natalia has done there. She's got bruised fingernails. That's how extreme that was from Shayna Baszler. It was so bad, she bruised her fingernails. We love Natalia. Thea Hale and Daze is Thea Daze. It's just the dream partnership, isn't it? Was she gardening? Maybe she was, yeah, maybe. Keaton said, what if Theory set the whole cash up thing and hired officials and ring announcers to do what he wanted? He could get major heat off that. Jeez, what, all to win a United States Championship? We still don't escape the fact that it was, for the United States Championship. If he's going to go to that effort, he decided he would go to that effort for the United States Championship rather than go to that effort and try to screw over Roman. That's my reaction. I don't really have any sound effects that can... Hang on. That's what I feel about the cash-in. That's what I feel about the cash-in. That's how I feel about Thea Hale. And with that news, we're going to wrap up the stream. So I'm going to set up the review. It won't be live. I'll just get it recorded, put it up, share my thoughts. There's a fair bit to go through, but it shouldn't be the longest review. But I'll go and get that done. I am back now. I've been doing some stuff today, as I said. Toy hunt should be on the way, and it was my mum's birthday, so it was just a bit of a weird day today, but I am back, so should be some videos dropping onto the channel over the next few days. And yes, UFC 281 this weekend. Of course, we're back tomorrow with AEW. I am going to try and drop some videos as well. But yeah, I'm going to go off and do the review. Awesome. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. I hope you had fun. Shout out to all the David Walkers in the world. And I will see you again next time. Bye for now.